San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And happy Wednesday to everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Padres fans, we've done it. We've made it. We made it. We have made it to Padres baseball season. We made it. It is, it's like Christmas Eve for baseball fans, is it not? We have finally made it to baseball season. Finally made it to baseball season, which I know a lot of you are super excited about. No more, trying to break down NFL free agency. No more trying to talk about games that don't matter. No more trying to, maybe the Padres should sign this guy. No more of that nonsense. It's go time now. We get to talk about actual baseball. We get to talk about the Tigers coming into town. We get to talk about the regular season. We can talk about the schedule and what the Padres have laid out for the first couple months of the year. We can talk about baseball, and it doesn't sound that forced. It's awesome. It's amazing. We're excited about this. We cannot wait to get rolling today on the show to give you the previews of all the divisions. We're going to give our previews of the games. We got a good slate of baseball games tomorrow. We got a great slate of baseball games here in San Diego this weekend. We got great pitching matchups this weekend. And we got baseball tonight. The Yankees are at the Giants. So we even got a game tonight that we could dive into that's going to count in the standings. No more of this nonsense on MLB Network with the spring training and, trying to grind out games, watching during the middle of the day. It's like, oh, who's that guy? I don't know. Doesn't even have a name on the back of his jersey. That guy's wearing number 96. Over with it. We're done with it. Tired of it. We made it through. So a big round of applause again to all of you out there that have made it through what is the worst time of the year for Padres fans, and that's when there's no Padres baseball. I wouldn't say Padres offseason is the worst time because there's always something up AJ Preller's sleeve. Who knows? We talked about the roster yesterday. I'm going to tell you right now, there could be something on the horizon. You never know. How many times we've seen AJ Preller make moves the eve of opening day? There could be something coming. They got to figure out that 26-man roster. They got to figure out that 40-man roster. They're going to figure that out tomorrow morning when Ben and Woods are on the air. We're going to be live at Baja Ricks tomorrow. We cannot wait for that. Ben and Woods will be on from 6 to 10. We'll be on from 10 to noon. And then we got Padres baseball. Sammy Lev and the Padres pregame show will pick up after us at about 12:10. And then we're going to have Padres baseball back on the radio waves. Big congratulations. Hey, Padres were making a lot of moves the last couple of weeks. They're signing all the broadcasters to extensions. Mark Grant, big congrats. Mark Grant got a contract extension today. Jesse Agler got a contract extension, solidifying the future of Padres baseball in terms of the broadcast standpoint. But we're excited. We can't wait to get after it, start talking more Padres baseball, breaking down actual games. And today we're going to give you a lot of previews of all the divisions because a lot of stuff happened in the offseason, and you might need a little bit of a refresher. You might need a little bit of a refresher of like, I forgot Jeff McNeil's and Los Oclamento A. Is that what we went with? The Los Oclamento A's?
Yes, the Los Oclamento A's, yes.
Yeah, the Los Oclamento A's. So we're going to give you the preview of all the divisions. We're going to tell you about what we think in terms of standings. Here's what Frank and I did. Now, We're a little sickos for this, but this is how excited we are for Major League Baseball.
A little?
Yeah, you don't want to tell people about what you do on the late at night with sports.
Hey, yo.
You know what? There's something else I want to do later this week that I thought about that we need to get to, and I'll tell you during a break. You let me know if you want to do it or not.
Okay.
It's going to be fun. I don't know if we don't have time to do it today, obviously. Maybe later in the week. But
Train spotting with Frank for a break spot.
Okay, tomorrow it's going to be hard for us to get on the air if the BNSF train rolls through at its normal time. We're going to be in trouble because, hey, you know what? At least the morning show will be going on, so I don't have to worry about Frank setting up equipment while the BNSF train is shipping containers tomorrow. I forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me about that. But today, so what we did was we went through the whole season and picked every series in Major League Baseball, and we got the results that we got, and that's what we think our predictions are. I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't think the Padres were going to win as many games as I had them put down for. Okay, so I'm a little bit hesitant on that. There's a couple other teams that surprised me. I had a surprise 100-loss team that I didn't think was going to lose 100 games. We're going to talk about that throughout the entire show. We'll get you the preview of the American and National League, talk about the different divisions. We'll kind of piggyback on what Gwen and Chris did yesterday. We'll have our MVP picks, our Cy Young picks per division, our newcomers of the year, who we think is going to come in first, last, talk about what we think our playoff predictions are. We're going to have that taken care of on this show because tomorrow's going to be about the Padres and the Tigers. Tomorrow's going to be about the Padres and the Tigers. Tomorrow's going to be about opening day. Tomorrow's going to be about the opening day roster. Tomorrow's going to be about the opening day lineup. Tomorrow's going to be about that. Now, today, I do want to hear it from you. Today's the day you can tell us how many games you think the Padres are going to win. So we can write them down and then tell you how right you were at the end of the year or tell you how wrong you were at the end of the year. This is the time to get it in. You can't call in and just be like, I told you so. If you don't tell me today how many wins the Padres are going to have. We did it last year. Prolific is staying with the 96.
We know you got 96.
He's staying with the 96. You know what? Maybe he was just maybe Prolific is part of the show in the sense of right but too early. He'd be a year early if they win 96 games because he picked that last year. But give me your win totals. Prolific in the chat. He's got 96.
Augie's going to be easy because his number of wins prediction is the same as the number in his account, 88.
Yeah, that makes it easy. Augie's got 88. Write it down. If you want to put it in the YouTube chat, go for it. Absolutely. If you're not part of the YouTube chat, and you're driving around, you can tweet at us at B_SURP, at BSURP. You can also give us a phone call, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Tell me the amount of wins you think the Padres are going to get and why. I mean, there's a lot of people that might think they're not good enough to make the playoffs. I mean, we've had a lot of people concerned about where the Padres are at in terms of wins, in terms of not really buying into the roll of the dice with a lot of the with a lot of the position battles and having to take risks on 30-something-year-olds. So I think you're going to see a lot of positive Padre fans today with their win total. I think you're going to see some pessimistic Padres fans today with their win total. If I had to say I did the thing, last night I mentioned that, without that number is different than what I thought. I mean, I got them at about 86 wins based on what I've seen. I think their ceiling could be about 93. I think their floor could be like 79 if everything does not work out. They could be as low as 79. But my number of what I thought going into the process of picking the season was not the number that I ended up getting. I ended up getting a higher number than that. So again, put your win totals in there if you haven't done so already. Tweet at us at B_SURP. You can also tweet at the show at B_SURP show and let us know how many wins. We'll try to track as much of this down as possible. 101. Wow, that's a lot. That would be great. But as we start the show, and as we start talking about this Padres team, I want to talk about some things that are probably more of a sure thing than a question mark. We've talked about a lot of question marks, but we haven't talked a lot about the sure things. And one player in particular. And let me start the show with this, because I know we got through all the, hooting and hollering about opening day and everything like that. But everybody wants to talk about the stars. They want to talk about the lineup. They want to talk about the big names. They want to talk about who's going to carry the offense for the Padres. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you've been paying attention, and I mean really paying attention, you know this. The strength of this team, the identity of this team, the thing you can actually carry them through the 162-game season and into October is the bullpen. And it's not just the bullpen as a whole. I think there's one guy in particular in that bullpen who might be the most important piece to the entire thing. He's not the biggest name in the bullpen. He's not the guy that gets headlines in the bullpen. He's not even necessarily the best pitcher in the bullpen, but he is the most important. And that's Adrian Morejón. And I'll take it one step further. If the Padres are serious about winning in 2026, if they're serious about maximizing this roster, if they're serious about building something sustainable, they need to extend Adrian Morejón before the season is over. Because what he brings to this bullpen is something you can't replace. And honestly, it took a long time to get here. I think about his journey. This is a kid that came over from Cuba at 16 years old with massive expectations. Big arm, big money, big future. And for years, it never fully clicked. You had injuries. You had setbacks. You had the shoulder. You had the back. You had Tommy John surgery. And every time it felt like he was about to break through, something stopped him. And then something changed. Before the 2025 season, the Padres were seriously considering stretching him back out into a starter, which makes sense, right? We've talked about it on the show. The kid's got 5 pitches. He's got a big arm. He's a former top prospect. You signed him originally to be a starting pitcher. That's usually the path. But Morejon said no. He pushed back. He told Ruben Niebla, let me be a reliever. Let me be great at this. And not just good. He told him, I'll be a top 10 reliever. That's confidence. That's belief. And then he went out and guess what he did? He backed it up last year. Because in 2025, Adrian Morejón became, well, Adrian Morejón. And you can make a real argument, not a hot take, a real argument that he was the most valuable pitcher on this team. He wasn't the closer. He's not the starter at the top of the rotation. He's the reliever who comes into chaos and ends it. That's his role. That's what makes him different. Anyone can pitch a clean inning. Not everyone can come in with traffic on the bases, game on the line, and shut it down. That's where Morejon thrives. Last year, Adrian inherited 45 runners. You know how many scored? Out of 45 runners, Frank, do you know how many of those guys scored?
3.
5. That's an 11% inherited runner scoring rate. One of the best we've seen in decades. Let me translate that for you for a second. That's games saved. That's wins preserved. That's the difference between a playoff team and a team watching October from home. There were 12 games last year where he came in with runners on, tight score, and didn't allow a single run to cross. 12. That's not luck, guys. That's elite. That's a mentality. And that's why I say he's the most important piece of this bullpen. Because while everyone else has defined roles, 7th inning, 8th inning, closer, Morejon's kind of the fireman of this bullpen. He's the guy you call on when everything is about to fall apart. And when you have that guy, your entire bullpen becomes stronger. Your manager has more flexibility. Your team has more confidence. And let's talk about the stuff for a second, because it's not just mental, it's electric stuff. He's averaging nearly 98 miles an hour on his sinker. He's now hitting 100 and 101 miles an hour regularly on his fastball from the left side. How many lefties, Frank, do you see that pump 100?
Not many.
Not a lot. What's the saying about a lefty? Oh, he's a crafty lefty. Power throwing righties, crafty lefties. This kid's throwing 101 miles an hour from the left side. That alone is just rare. So you got his sinker coming at 92. You got his fastball pumping at 101. 100 and 101. And then you added a disappearing changeup. You add a sharp slider, and you got a 5-pitch total mix. That's not a normal reliever. That's a weapon. That's someone you can deploy in multiple situations against any part of the lineup. And here's what might be the most important part of his development. It's not the velocity. It's not even the results. It's the maturity. In 2024, he needed constant mound visits. Every time there was traffic, Ruben Niebla was walking out there, calming him down, resetting him. Last year, that changed. He handled it himself. He stayed locked in. He attacked hitters. He trusted his stuff. That's growth. That's the difference between a talented arm and a reliable weapon. And now he's entering a massive year. Final season before free agency, prime of his career, finally healthy, finally confident, finally consistent. And that's why the Padres can't wait on this. You don't let a guy like this get to the open market. You don't gamble on replacing this kind of role, because here's the truth about bullpens. They're volatile. They change year to year. Guys come and go. Performance fluctuates. And when you find someone who can anchor it in high leverage chaos, you lock that in immediately. Because while Mason Miller might be the closer, Adrian Morejón might be the guy who actually determines how many games you win. And that's not an exaggeration. That's the reality of modern baseball. The middle innings, the high leverage moments before the ninth. That's where the games are decided. And he owns those moments. So while everyone else is focused on the lineup, while everyone else is talking about the stars, I look at this bullpen and I'm saying this. The Padres' biggest strength is their bullpen, and the bullpen's most important piece is Adrian Morejón. It is time to extend him. It is time to lock him in, because if he repeats what he did last year, you're not just talking about a great reliever, you're talking about one of the most valuable pitchers in all of Major League Baseball, and a guy you absolutely cannot afford to lose. He makes this bullpen click. You invested the time in finding him at age 16. You invested the time and the money and the effort in the growing pains of watching the kid as a teenager grow into a young man and then turn himself into one of the best bullpen pieces in Major League Baseball, in one of the best bullpens that you'll ever see in Major League Baseball. And with the reinforcements coming up the pipeline in the bullpen, with guys like Bradley Rodriguez, with guys like David Morgan, with guys like Jeremiah Estrada, with guys like Mason Miller, and all of these young arms that are under contract for a long time, it's time to extend Adrian and make him part of this bullpen that's going to be one of the best in baseball for the next 4 to 5 years. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We are just getting started here on a Wednesday. We are broadcasting live from the Bill House studios as we get you ready for opening day tomorrow. It's opening day eve today on the show. We're going to be breaking down a lot in terms of the Padres. We're giving you our previews. And again, if you haven't done so already, throw in the YouTube chat how many wins you think the Padres are going to achieve this year, the win total. Text it to, or should I say, tweet at us at B_SURP. Give us a call, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, we're going to lock in on some of the different things in terms of where we're at in the previews of the season. I mean, we're going to get into exactly what to expect out of the season. But the first thing we're going to talk about, there's a couple of rule changes that have been made, and the base coaches are not happy about it. And I'll tell you why when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, Settings Number Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. UCSD baseball just made a statement, and people should start paying attention. The Tritons took 2 of 3 from UC Riverside, dropped 12 runs on Friday, 14 on Sunday, and showed this offense can explode at any moment. Oh, and head coach Eric Newman just became the winningest coach in program history. That's not just a milestone. That's a program leveling up. But here's the real question. Are they actually contenders right now in the Big West? Because the offense is there, no doubt about it. The concern, though, defense, pitching consistency, and closing games clean. Kind of a very familiar situation here in San Diego. Now they got to match up with a ranked Oregon team coming up, and that's the test. If UCSD shows up in that game, this team might not just be improving, they might be arriving. It was a statement weekend for UCSD baseball, taking 2-3 from UC Riverside in their Big West home opener series, and Friday night was the headline moment.
Yeah, absolutely. A 12-6 win powered by a 6-run inning and a grand slam from Delshawn Lanier. But the big story, head coach Eric Newman, congratulations on becoming the winningest coach in program history, collecting his 455th win, passing Dan O'Brien. So congratulations to Coach Newman, who we had on just a couple of weeks ago, on reaching that milestone.
Yeah, on Saturday, UCSD stumbled 9-4, largely due to a brutal 5-run inning fueled by defensive miscues, a theme that showed some cracks in this team. But Sunday, they answered back. A 10-run third inning explosion to lead to a 14-10 victory, securing the series and showcasing just how dangerous this offense can be when it clicks. I mean, the offense is legit. 12 runs on Friday, 14 runs on Sunday, multiple players producing. Klepsch, Crossland, Costello, Lanier. I mean, this is not a one-man show. It's a lineup that can snowball innings quickly, and we saw that twice in this series.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you have guys who can feed off of each other the way that quartet can, it does lead to big games like we've seen over the course of the weekend. I mean, 26 runs in 2 games, that is a lot. Forget about just D1 college. That's a lot for the minor leagues and for the pros as well. So they are a very, very legit offense, but there are still some worrying signs with the Tritons baseball program.
Yeah, there's still some concerns. I mean, the defensive errors need to be fixed, obviously. You can't leave that many runners on base either. I mean, 12 stranded on Saturday. That's probably a big reason why they were unable to get a victory and potentially sweep UCR. And then pitching inconsistencies in key innings, which is very much a common concern for most teams in college baseball. So the team can score with anyone. The question is whether they can consistently control games, and that's going to be a big factor in the Big West. And coming up next for baseball, they get a major test, a midweek matchup against the 21st ranked Oregon Ducks, and they're a really good baseball team out of the Big Ten. It's very much a measuring stick game. Midweek games are always kind of crazy in itself. Can that explosive offense show up against a ranked opponent, and can the pitching tighten up against the league competition?
Yeah, that is going to be a very, very difficult, very, very difficult question to ask for this team. Anything can happen in the midweek, as you said. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what the Tritons can do coming into this week.
Let's talk about softball. On the flip side, it was a rough weekend for Triton softball against Cal State Fullerton. They lost 8-7 despite a late homer in the game. They swept in Sunday's doubleheader 4-0, 7-1, and they're now on a 4-game losing streak. Offense has shown flashes, but they're struggling to capitalize with runners on base and recover from big innings by opponents.
Yeah, 8-7 loss on Friday. 4-0 on Sunday. Sorry, the first game, that's 8-7 loss was on Saturday, and then the doubleheader lost 4-0 in the first game and 7-1 in the second game against Cal State Fullerton. So now you have Long Beach over the weekend, Friday, and then a doubleheader on Saturday against Long Beach. So Long Beach State. So it's not been going all that well for UC San Diego softball so far.
Now, baseball's off to a great start. 5-1 in conference play. It's not a fluke. The offense powerful enough to carry the team, as we've talked about, and they're proving they can win series. But championship-level teams don't just score. They execute clean baseball, and playing in a conference like the Big West, they're going to have to do that. So they feel like a dangerous team, not yet a complete one for the Tritons over there in La Jolla. If they clean up the errors and tighten the pitching, this team could legitimately compete at the top of the Big West sooner than expected in 2026. All guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. Later on at 11:30, we got a guest on the show today as we will have, I think I look back, Dan Dickerson.
Yes, Tigers radio play-by-play guy who will actually be doing television because Jason Benetti, their normal television guy, is in L.A. for the NBC opening series. So Dan Dickerson will be on at 11:30 to preview the Tigers season and series.
There's a lot of the Tigers have a lot of interesting names part of their organization. Dan Dickerson. What's that other guy's name on that roster? Jason Benetti is their. I know Benetti. He's not even one. I'm talking about their players.
Oh,
they got Dan Dickerson is their play-by-play guy. Great name. Then you got. When I hear Dan Dickerson, I think of Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. That's what I think of immediately.
We'll be sure to mention that off air.
I should tell him. Yeah. Hey, have you ever watched The Fairly Odd Parents by chance? Probably not.
Have you ever seen the end of an interview so quickly?
Hey, I want to ask you: did you end up selling the Dimmadome? The what? Aren't you Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome? Oh, I'm Dan Dickerson.
God, man.
Play-by-play of the Detroit Tigers.
You're not making your case any better. By the way, I do have to make a graphic for him because we were not expecting it yesterday.
These are the names I'm talking about.
Dylan Dingler.
The alliteration of Dylan Dingler, Jackson Jobe, Jahmai Jones. You also have Bo Brisky. That sounds like Bill Blaschke from Saturday Night Live. Bill Blaschke. You also have a country singer, Riley Green, is on the team. I mean, the names of this team is crazy. They have a guy named Tarek. Have you ever seen the name Tarek ever in your life besides Tarek Skubal?
Colt Keith.
Colt Keith? Yeah.
I know it's a C and a K, but
I'm going to tell you right now, in our predictions for the season, all-time name team,
Tigers are world champions.
Tigers. For sure. Tigers. I mean, yeah, sure, they have like the Framber Valdez's and Jack Flaherty's and Gleyber Torres of the way. Nobody cares about the stars' names. I mean, somebody, Colt Keith, are you kidding me?
Who cares about the stars? Like
Will Vest. You got to say that like European. It makes it sound like it's like together. Will Vest. Could you imagine like a German guy like saying that guy's name?
Will Vest.
Will Vest. Now batting for the Tigers.
Oh. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this Tiger interview. It's probably going to be the last one.
The names are great. Come on. Their play-by-play guy is Dale Dimmadome. Owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
By the way, this whole bit just needs a big squirrel.
That's awesome. No, it needs a foul, too. 100%.
Yeah, that needs a couple of those.
He draws the foul.
Are you kidding me? The alliteration of this team and the organization. I mean, are you kidding me? Kerry Carpenter, Bo Brisky, Colt Keith. You also have Dylan Dingler, Jackson Jobe, Jahmai Jones. I would even throw in Kevin McConaughey. And then their play-by-play guy is Dan Dickerson. Are you kidding me? Come on. Come on. The all-alliteration organization. The Detroit Tigers. That's where we're at with this. Zit Tigers. Are we doing German accents now? No, we're not. Augie in the YouTube chat, we are not. Will Vest, are you kidding me? Come on. All the people, by the way, of all the people that complained about the biggest fan name generator, nobody complains about the Tigers. Come on.
Smash, we're not making fun of or disrespecting Dan Dickerson.
No,
relax.
He's great.
Calm down.
The fact that he fits in with the alliteration of the Tigers organization is crazy to me. Detroit. The Detroit Tigers. All right, I've had enough of that. That was funny. Nobody liked the Dimsdale Dimmadome? Hey, it's Dale Dimmadome. Nobody had that on their bingo card today. I like dropping the Nickelodeon cartoons from when I was a kid. It's great. Smitty Wortherman Jensen, he was number one. All right, MLB base coach rule controversy. Did you see this?
You seen this? Have you heard about this?
You heard about this?
Yes, I have.
I have seen this. Rob Manfred and MLB are cracking down on base coaches leaving the coaching box. I mean, we've seen that a lot, right? It's like, why do they even have the boxes over there? None of the coaches are ever standing there. Well, the reason is to prevent sign stealing via pitch tipping observation. That's why they're really putting this in. All right. To me, that's kind of a dumb reason to put this rule in, but okay. And the reality is coaches now feel physically unsafe. I believe that, to be honest with you. I believe that. This is why the coaches have a problem with it. They feel unsafe. I wouldn't want to stand there with some of the guys coming up. Are you kidding me? Do you want to stand there when Manny Machado's up? Have you seen him hit the ball in foul ground? You want to stand there when Fernando turns on a ball? Are you kidding me? Could you imagine having to stand in the box with Barry Bonds up in the middle of his quest for all those home runs? No, thank you.
Well, from the stories we've heard, he was he kind of called his shot every single time he hit one.
Yeah, well, yeah. And if you didn't hit one over the fence, I guess he was getting intentionally walked.
Have you heard the stories about him like chasing that record? Like he was 2 away. He's like, I am not going to hit a home. They're going on a road trip. I am not hitting a home run this entire road trip.
Oh, yeah, because he wanted to do it at home.
Yeah, he did not do it. He said first game back, he's like, okay, cool. Tonight I'm tying the record. Tied it that night. Next night, I'm breaking the record. Broke the record the next night. Like he was automatic.
All right, so here's what the coaches are saying. So they have to now stay inside that box 90 feet from home plate. In today's game, exit velocities exceed 110 to 120 miles an hour. Reaction time is almost non-existent. Remember those videos I showed you yesterday with the softball guys doing dumb things, like hitting softballs into people, see how fast the reaction time is?
You didn't? Oh, yes, you did show me that one, yes.
Yeah, that's scary. That's like kind of what this is like. Coaches who said they can't get out of harm's way. It's dangerous right now. And it's not theoretical. I mean, in 2007, Mike Coolbaugh passed away after being hit by a line drive. And after that, helmets were mandated to be worn by the base coaches. But now base coaches say that's not enough. I'm with them on this. Teams complained coaches were creeping closer to home plate, trying to identify pitch grips. MLB used tracking data, Hawkeye, to confirm it. Enforcement now includes staying in the box, potential penalties if violated, and Major League Baseball's stance is coaches can move back towards the dugout for safety, but not forward or outward. The pushback from the coaches are, and these are voices across the league, Dave McKay, Sandy Alomar Jr., Aaron Boone. Most of the complaints have been moving backward makes them less effective at their job, worse at reading plays and helping runners. The rule is based on, quote, a century-old field design, doesn't actually stop sign stealing. If teams want info, they'll get it anyway. The trade-off that Major League Baseball is making, crackdown on cheating versus increased physical danger to on-field personnel. Coaches believe that MLB is solving a minor competitive issue while creating a major safety risk. I think they are creating a major safety risk with this. I don't like this at all. I honestly believe, I'm honestly on the coach's side of this. I honestly don't think they're picking up anything more than they already pick up right now. I really don't. And there's a lot of base coaches that maybe the base coaches are just going to get younger, that try to be a little bit more agile over there on first and third, but I wouldn't want to stand over there. Not at all. I think the coaches have a legitimate gripe. And look, if you want to keep them in a box, maybe put the box in a place that is a little bit safer, and then in between pitches, they can get out of the box. But maybe there needs to be a different location for the coaches' boxes. I don't know. And here's another thing. Who's enforcing this? Did they say if it was going to be the umpires, or is it going to be like the Hawkeye system enforcing this? Because let's not add any more things to the umpires' plates with everything else that they have to abide by. I don't really like this. I don't really like this rule, Frank. I really don't.
No, it does. I mean, it's not great putting them in a box for it, but I mean, there's so much that can go wrong when you confine somebody's movement the way that they are with this rule. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. I wouldn't be surprised at all if a couple of base coaches got hit this season intentionally just to get this rule changed.
Because if you show how dangerous it is, and you really, like, if you get a couple of examples of how dangerous and how bad this can be, it makes it a lot easier for the rule to get changed. So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a couple of base coaches this year eat it for the team to get this changed.
I don't think they're intentionally going to do that, but
they're not going to want to. But if it makes their case stronger,
what are they gonna pull a major league and make Roger Dorn step in front of the ball? Are you kidding me? There's no way they're gonna do that. I wouldn't do that if I would be like, nope, I'm gonna be a bench coach now.
I wouldn't want to. But if I felt as though it made Major League Baseball go, you know what? Maybe this was kind of stupid.
I think this is just such a for every league going towards safety, for Major League Baseball to take away from safety to give to such a minor detail that's probably not a rampant problem of cheating and sign stealing is kind of an overreach to me.
Because you have to know. It's one thing to know the pitch. It's a completely different thing to hit it. It's like I could know a slider or a sweeper is coming. I still have to hit the thing. So it doesn't really, it gives you a small advantage. It doesn't give you a great one because you still have to perform the action of hitting the ball.
I agree with that. I just think it's kind of an overreach. Rob Manfred looks like, hey, look, I'm cracking down on cheating. Nice, dude. Nice. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, we'll get our first look of a different division as we could do our previews today. We're going to talk about the American League East when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station 97 through the Fan. San Diego State women's basketball is doing something special right now, and if you're not paying attention, you should be. They just won back-to-back postseason games. They're 27-5. They're tied for the most wins in program history, and they're doing it with elite defense and clutch execution. They beat UC Irvine in a game with 12 lead changes, closed out an 8-0 run, then turned around and dominated McNeese, holding them to just 27% shooting. Oh, and here's the craziest part. They're 25 for 25 from the free throw line in the postseason. Perfect. That's discipline. It's composure. That's winning basketball. Now they get Kansas. And this is where we find out, are they just having a great season, or is this the best team San Diego State has ever had in women's basketball? Because right now, they look like a team that's not ready to be done. It's been a packed week across the board for San Diego State athletics, highlighted by a historic run for the women's basketball team, while baseball and softball showed flashes, but also some inconsistency. But the biggest headline, Aztec women's basketball is rolling in the postseason. This team is officially one of their better teams in program history. They knocked off Irvine 61-55 in a thriller, and they followed it up with a dominant 56-41 win over McNeese.
Yeah, it was a great game. First from UC Irvine, 12 lead changes, 9 ties, close on an 8-0 run. Naomi Pangiaban, hopefully, 22 points, perfect from the free throw line. Then followed up again by that game against McNeese, held McNeese to 27% shooting, forced 15 turnovers. And they had balanced scoring across the board. And again, as you had mentioned, 25 for 25 from the free throw line. That is huge in the women's, the WBIT.
WBIT, which is different than the WNIT, if you will. But yeah, that's I don't care what tournament you're in.
That's impressive.
Yeah, but 2 games so far, 25 for 25 from the free throw line. That's going to win you basketball games night in and night out. 27 wins on the season, high school record, first postseason win since 2013. They're now headed to face the number 2 seed Kansas Jayhawks women's basketball team in the WBIT. This team winning with defense, the discipline, and the clutch execution in this particular tournament. Let's go to the Diamond, where baseball had left some opportunities on the table. It's been a frustrating stretch for Aztecs baseball. They lost 7-4 to the 13th ranked USC Trojans despite out-hitting them. They left 10 runners on base. They had an extra inning loss to San Jose State over the weekend, and then they had split results in a doubleheader. They beat UConn and then lost a tight one to San Jose State. Theme of the week, they're creating chances, but they're not finishing right
Yeah,
now.
no, unfortunately not. And again, that's that outing against USC in the middle of the week, leaving 10 runners on base. That is a lot. And that's something we've spoken a lot about when it comes to Aztec baseball is they're getting hits, but they're not getting the timely hits that you need in order to capitalize on those mistakes, especially against the number 13 team in the country. That would have been huge. And then losing both games to San Jose State while taking one against UConn. It's a very up and down week, mostly down, unfortunately, for the Aztec baseball program.
Let's go to softball. High drama and some big swings for the softball team. They had one of the wildest weekends you will see. They dropped first 2 games to UNLV, Rebel softball. Then they responded with a 13-7 comeback win. 8 runs in the 7th inning with 2 outs. Huge swings from Jade Ignacio and Jasmine Williams. Team showed resilience, offensive firepower, and ability to explode late. I don't care what sport you're playing. I don't care what level of baseball or softball you're playing. You put up 8 runs in the final inning with 2 outs. That's a pretty impressive deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And also to salvage the final game of the weekend series against UNLV, there's a huge aspect as well to it. And that late in the game, very, very good on them for that.
As far as women's basketball is concerned, again, as we mentioned before, they now get Kansas. And if they bring the same defensive identity and intensity and composure, they have a real shot to really shock some people in this game against Kansas in the WBIT. But here's what's coming up next. Women's basketball at Kansas in the WBIT semifinal. Baseball looks to clean up their execution, and softball heads to New Mexico after a momentum-building comeback. But that's your update on San Diego State Aztec athletics as we get to the spring season. Basketball, women's basketball doing a really good job. But again, last basketball team standing in town. We got some tickets to give away, right? Later on in the show.
We do. We have concert tickets to give away.
We have concert tickets to give away at 1:00 today.
And we'll be doing that for the rest of the week as well.
Giving away tickets to see Bob Dylan at the Rady Shell on June 21st. Get your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com. We're going to get to that in the 1:00 hour. We're going to break down the American League East here in a second. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3. The Fan. We're going to have previews today on every division of Major League Baseball, so you guys know what we think. Again, we are asking you to put in your win totals for the Padres. We're going to record them, write them down, track what you guys think this season as we get ready for opening day tomorrow as the Padres take on the Detroit Tigers. We're going to get to the American League East in just a second, but do you want to get to the phone calls? 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Don and Santee. Don, what's going on, man?
Hey, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm excited for opening day tomorrow.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions on the American League. Do you think Toronto has the best pitching staff in the whole league? And then back to the first and third base coaches, why even have them on the field if none of their players are on base?
That's not a bad idea, except for like trying to relay signals in, I guess, from the third base coach. But it's interesting. Who do you think the best pitching staff is in the American League?
I think we're going to get to it. I think he might have gotten ahead of us a little bit.
Let's get to the American League East to start our discussion and our preview of Major League Baseball.
Are contractually obligated. Every radio host must do this
Right
at the start of every baseball season.
All right. Fire up the music because Scraby stole that from me yesterday. Did you hear that?
Okay. Do we have gimmick infringement now is what we got?
Oh, you didn't hear about it yesterday? Wow. Are you upset about this?
Yes.
I do have to say, I did add a lot of those songs that we do play.
I
did not add this one.
Yeah,
in
no,
particular,
I did that one.
But he said, because Chris asked for some music for the previews. And so they played this song every single time. And Traby was like, I'm just going to go with Frank's music on this. He has the best music in the game at the station. So I'm going to use Frank's music for this. So he did compliment you in a way. I think he tried to kiss your ass a little bit so you'd be okay with it.
Okay.
But yes, gimmick infringement.
I'm feeling like Sam yesterday, the MLB sleeper account. Yeah, I'm feeling like feeling done dirty a little bit here.
Yeah. He did give you credit. I'm not gonna lie. He did give you credit.
I use whatever music you want, dude. All right.
He just said he pulled it from our deal.
Oh, there you go. All right. So the reason why I have mine highlighted is because I know who I have going to the playoffs. You did not do that.
Well, I just got that's a quick
yes, it is.
Record look.
So American League East. We'll start with you because you're the host of the show. You're the one that has to fulfill a contractual obligation here.
To do a preview of the American League East.
Yeah. It's not a station obligation. It's a radio industry obligation.
So because Scraby stole our music, we're gonna steal their gimmick back. So here's what we're gonna do. We actually have the records for all the teams. We get a little bit, little extra on this show. We do our homework, we do our research. We went through every single game and picked the records. I picked every single game. I even put out the scores down for every single game Major League Baseball this year. No, I did not. I didn't do that.
I was going to say
that would have taken me months.
Irene.
That would have taken me months. I don't have enough time to do that. I was calling a baseball game last night. So we're going to give you the winner, last place, newcomer of the division, the MVP of the division, and the Cy Young of the division. I got the Red Sox winning this division at 91-71. I got them at 91 wins. You're going to see a pattern here. I think the American League could be very evenly matched across the board. I don't think anybody's going to really run away with the American League. I think the National League is going to have some very competitive teams as well. But for the Red Sox, I think this is the year they finally get it done. They do have a lot of veteran players too, like the Padres do, but they got some young talent mixed in. I like their pitching staff. I like how they've assembled their team. They probably could use another arm mixed in, but I think the Red Sox coming first at 91-71. I got the Yankees, Blue Jays, and Orioles in that order. I had the Yankees and Blue Jays tying for second place at 88 wins. And then Baltimore at 87 wins. I think it's going to be a tight race. I got the Rays coming in last, but I still think they're going to be a decent team winning 79 games.
I've got the Blue Jays actually bettering their win total from last year and winning the division. I have them going 96-66. I have the Yankees going 92-70, Baltimore at 86-76. I have all three of them making the playoffs. I've got Boston going 81-81, and the Rays going 75-87. That's why I see the American League East playing.
All right. So I got the Red Sox winning, got the Blue Jays winning.
Yes.
We both have the Rays coming in last.
Yes.
Newcomer of the year. Since you like to copy me, and as much as you'd probably hate to say this, I think Pete Alonso is going to be the biggest impact for any new player in their organization. He'll have a bigger impact than Dylan Cease, the Blue Jays, and some of the other minor moves that have been made.
Roger Suarez for the Red Sox also.
I got Pete Alonso.
I have Pete Alonso as well. I think Pete Alonso is the biggest name to come into the division. I think he's going to have the biggest impact. He's going to be the newcomer of the year for them, for the division.
But I don't think he's going to be the MVP. I think it's hard to not have Aaron Judge be the MVP. This is where we differ a little bit. I had Aaron Judge winning the American League East MVP. Frank had.
I have him by his God-given government name, Arson Fudge.
Yes. We both think he's going to be. It's kind of hard.
Baseball, because MLB.
Well, no, I mean.
Cal Raleigh didn't win MVP last year.
I mean, your MVP could be whoever ends up being the best physical player. I mean, you don't have to pick Aaron Judge.
No,
I just think he has put up the best numbers in the American League East the last couple of years.
I'm also trying
it's hard
to be
disagree
correct.
with that. So, and it's the regular season. Aaron Judge just doesn't show up in meaningful games. He shows up in all the regular ones that don't really matter.
Exactly.
What do you think he does tonight? Tonight is the night he breaks out after having a terrible WBC.
0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts.
No, it's a game that doesn't matter. It's on Netflix.
No, it's a big game. It's opening day.
It's opening night. It's different. Cy Young, AL East Cy Young. I asked this question yesterday on the broadcast. I asked Mike Gosling, who is my color analyst, former major leaguer, former Stanford standout, went to the College World Series every year that he was at Stanford. And I asked him about the opening night thing. I said, what's more important to you? If you're making it, aside from just making an opening day roster, which is obviously very important for a lot of players, would you rather play in the daytime or at night? He's like, definitely in the day. It just means more at day.
It's also
opening day. Players love opening day.
Correct. But this is also opening day. This is game 1 of the season, not just for your team, but for the entire sport. This is game 1, and it's standalone. It's going to be hidden away on Netflix because, God forbid, us normal slobs can have anything.
You don't pay for Netflix?
I do.
You don't have a Netflix account? Is that what I needed to say?
I'm trying to stand up for the people that don't have it. Can you please let me soapbox for a second? Thank you very much.
This guy's standing up for Yankees fans today. How about that?
I will say this. They do have it rough. They have their own television network, yet half of their games are
what's the
behind
point
paywalls.
What is on that television network then?
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
But things thrown at the first pitch, Frank.
Don't get me back on the thing.
No, I can't. No, I can't because they're sponsoring 2 of our hours, so we can't. Come on, man.
Cy Young, please.
I think the Cy Young for the American League East is going to be Garrett Crochet. I think that's the big. Because to me, I feel like I can't give out awards to teams that I don't have winning the division. The Red Sox win the divisions because Garrett Crochet pitches like a Cy Young. I got Garrett Crochet being the AL East Cy Young Award winner in this preview.
And for the same reason, I do feel as though Crochet will definitely be in that conversation. But I think Kevin Gausman is going to have a very, very good year for Toronto. I think he's going to be better than Shane Bieber. I think he's going to be better than Dylan Cease. He's going to be the number 1 starter for that team. I'm going to go with Kevin Gausman as the AL East Cy Young Award winner.
In terms of playoff teams, you got 3 division winners and 3 wild cards, right? Is that how it works? Well, I think the AL East gets 4 teams.
Really?
Well, based on the records.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
I have the Royals going 87 and 75 in the Central Division, and I have the Orioles going 87 and 75. So I have to go back and look to see who I had winning that series. But I mean, think about it. You look at the American League.
Oh, there are a lot of good teams.
There's a lot of solid teams, but then there's a lot of there's not a lot of great teams. It's kind of like last year. Last year, the American League had solid teams, but they didn't have a bunch of dominant teams. And I think it's going to be a setback for some teams in the AL West. And we're going to get to the AL West later on in the show.
I don't think that the Red Sox have done enough to recoup what they lost to make the postseason. And somebody just asked, what happened to the Rays? Nothing. And that's kind of the point. They were 4th place in the division. They didn't really upgrade. They didn't really lose anyone either. So I don't think the Rays are going to be a fight. I think Baltimore for sure is the one that retooled the most.
Oh, especially with their manager.
Yes.
It is the
especially with their manager.
Bay Birdland.
Exactly.
They're the ones that retooled the most. The Blue Jays spent the most money because they got that taste last year. They want to get back.
And the Yankees are the Yankees. So that's why I think it's going to be Toronto, New York, and Baltimore. They're going to be the 3.
Well, everybody thought the Red Sox were going to make it to the World Series last year, and they kind of fell apart. But they still have a little bit of the core there from what they had. I mean, they got a lot of good players and a lot of young players too. I mean, you go through their roster. This is a good team. They're going to be a problem, and hopefully you get them early. Hopefully, getting them early, if you're the Padres, is a sign of good times.
They're also relying on a lot of young talent. Like they're relying on Marcelo Mayer, I think, a little too early. They already gave a big contract extension to Christian Campbell, and that's already not worked out. You're hoping that Roman Anthony has a big breakout year. So I think they're relying on too much to go right.
This entire day is going to show, I think, a lot of people that it's not just the Padres that have massive question marks around their team.
No kidding. Huh?
Nobody's got a perfect team. When we come back, we'll talk about the American League Central a little bit, give you our previews. We're going to do that throughout the entire day. Plus, next hour, we'll look at the Padres' upcoming schedule. Hour number 2 of the Braden Surprenant Show, broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's Urban Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. We're giving you our previews today. We're going to break it up. There'll be a couple of back-to-backs, but not too many of these. Later on in the show today, we are going to have the play-by-play broadcaster of the Detroit Tigers as a member of Dan Dickerson. He'll be joining us at 11:30. He is usually the radio guy. He's going to be doing it for TV the next couple of days for the Tigers because Jason Benetti, their TV broadcaster, is going to be doing the NCAA tournament. So Dan Dickerson will come on at 11:35. He's got a pretty remarkable story about how he got the job as the radio play-by-play man of the Detroit Tigers. We're going to talk to him about that later on 11:35, get you a preview of what to expect from the Tigers the next 3 days here in San Diego. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough to deal with the Tigers this weekend. I mean, you know, it's just 3 games in the season. And I'm going to tell you later on what I think the Padres are going to do, not only this weekend, but in the season. Again, even if they don't get off to the best of starts like they did last year, and last year was kind of crazy. The season's not over if they lose 2 out of 3 to the Tigers, and they're not going to the World Series if they take 2 out of 3. I just want to make that clear. Sunday's off, too. That's kind of interesting quirk. But when you open up the season against the interleague team and you play them on a Thursday and you only play them 3 times, one of those days is going to be off. It's the Tigers and then the Giants. We're going to talk about the schedule for the Padres in a little bit later. And Dan Dickerson will join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking. It's better. All right. Did you see this, by the way? Maybe we have to do this in noon lunchtime hour. We talked about the Padres food. USA Today did an article of all the food in Major League Baseball.
Oh, no.
The Mets. Did you see what the Mets are selling? They're basically selling a buzz ball. You know what a buzz ball is?
The
big. Yeah. That's filled with like alcohol and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're basically selling one of those in a baseball that you can drink. It is a gigantic cocktail in a baseball.
They've done that.
The Buzz Ball Mets.
They've done something similar to that. Like there's a place out in center field. One of the restaurants out in center field, they sell alcohol. They've sold just regular straight up alcohol in a Met baseball.
That's
Buzzball Mets. I love it. All right, let's get to the Central Division, Frank.
Yes, let's do that.
Do you see Pablo Sanchez was at Fenway today? Backyard baseball coming back. This will be fun. It's going to be super weird when a bunch of 35-year-olds go by the game.
Hey, it's a great game.
It is a great game. That's great as a kid. All right, let's get to the AL Central preview in terms of what's going on.
We have been suitably chastened by our very own Smash the Numbers in chat. So I think obligatorily we have to now. The Tigers are winning this division, right?
I think so.
Okay, so there we go.
I got the Tigers winning 89 games this year, just missing out on 90. I got the Royals coming in second, 87 and 75. Guardians 500, 81 and 81. They probably will win 86 at this point. They always find ways to do that. And then I got the White Sox and the Twins is my 5. So my winner, the Tigers, my loser, the Twins in the division.
I have the same thing. I have the Tigers winning 90. I have them just getting there. I have the Guardians winning 83. Royals are 500. White Sox go 72 wins. And the Twins, I have the same record as you, both winning 67.
I look at this Tigers team, and they're the division favorite, right? I mean, the entire division runs through Tarek Skubal, who we're going to get to in a second. Back-to-back Cy Young Award winner entering a contract year, which is massive stakes for him. And, you know, what ESPN.com wrote about the Tigers in terms of their overall preview of the season was enjoy Tarek Skubal while you have him, because it could be the last ride in Detroit. Tigers have invested in pitching, already division's biggest strength. X factor offense finally catching up with Torkelson, Green, and Javi Baez, who had a big bounce back a year ago. this is kind of the most complete team of the division and the most motivated. Everything lines up for Detroit to win right now. And to answer Don and Santee's question, I think the Tigers probably have the best starting rotation right now in the American League.
I think he asked for the American League East, and I think Toronto, has that. But yeah, I think the Tigers, especially after the collapse, you get over there?
Yeah, I had to flip my thing over.
Especially after the collapse that was last year, I think they're going to be very, very motivated, as you said, to not let that happen. And we pretty much have the same thing. We just have the Guardians and Royals flipped. I still can't get over the fact that the Guardians are always there. It doesn't matter what team that they have.
I'll sell you the Royals.
Always a pain in the neck.
I'll sell you the Royals. You can sell me the Guardians here. I think the Royals are the biggest threat in this division. They got a superstar centerpiece in Bobby Witt Jr. And ESPN pushed the narrative of the 40-40 potential that he's got. He plays elite defense. He does play shortstop. Franchise carrying player. The biggest issue for the Royals is their offense is still inconsistent. 26 runs last year, but Jack Caglione, development, new outfield production, Vinny Pasquantino. I mean, you got a lot of stars for the WBC for Team Italy in the United States that are on this team, that are in this lineup for the Royals that I think is going to improve. And can their pitching continue to throw up numbers that they have in the past? Now, I heard that they were moving the fences in a little bit in Kansas City. I don't know if that was legit or not.
They have moved the corners in a little bit. They're doing what a lot of the teams are doing now when they move the fences in. They're doing like that restaurant exclusive seating area. Yeah.
So they shrunk the field. I think it's going to help their offense. I don't think it's going to impact their pitching a lot. I think this is a big year for the Royals. I think this is a year that the Royals make a step forward, and I think they just miss out at potentially winning the division. And I think it's going to be a tight wild card race in the American League of whether or not they make the postseason, but their biggest contender is going to be the third or fourth team, maybe in the American League East. Why do you think the Guardians are going to make a push?
I think the Guardians, because, well, one, they're always in it. They were dead and buried last year, and they ended up winning the division. Jose Ramirez is still the centerpiece of that team. Now, the biggest question, of course, for them is, where is the help? That's been the biggest question for them for years. Their chronic issue is that they do have a lack of pop. 20th in home runs last season. However, their pitching is still elite. That team produces pitchers at a very, very high rate. And even though all the big names are gone,
lost big names and lost Ruben Niebla, they're still cranking out. Yeah,
they're still figuring out how to get the most out of these pitchers. So it wouldn't be a hard sell. I could very easily believe Kansas City could take the next step. I just don't see that happening this year. I see it maybe next year or the year after.
I think and the thing is Cleveland's going to hang around all year, and they'll make the postseason or make a push with the Tigers if somebody else besides Jose Ramirez hits. And if nobody does, they're going to just be mediocre. They're going to finish 500. That's why I think they're going to finish at about 500.
I think Juan said it right. They are the American League's version of Milwaukee.
Milwaukee and Cleveland every year I go like, there's nobody on this team that scares me. Why are they going to be good? Why are they going to be good? And then every year, guess what they're doing? Leading the division. Or in a position to win the division. I mean, they came back and stole the division from the Tigers last year. And then what did they do in the playoffs? Lost to the Tigers in the first round of the playoffs. So, the other two teams, the White Sox. I mean, how about this for the White Sox? Like, they are good. They're bad, but fun to watch. Like with Murakami,
they're going to be more interesting this year for sure.
I mean, Murakami had 56 homers last year in Japan.
Yeah, I have them winning, I think, 12 more games than they had last year. They were, 60 and 102 last year? I have them going 72 and 90. So I think they're going to make a pretty good jump.
I think so, too. I got them in 70 and 92 as of right now. Though, I mean, they got a legit Rookie of the Year candidate in Murakami. It's just Murakami. It's just how he adjusts to MLB velocity. Quiet improvement over the last season. I mean, late last season, the White Sox were playing a lot better, and they were a lot better than the record suggests. Plus, I like Will Venable. I think he's changing some things over there in the American League Central. Twins, most uncertain team. I don't know what their plan is. What is the plan? What are the Twins doing? Do the Twins know what they're doing? I don't think the Twins know what they're doing. They're like, oh, we're kind of competing, but we're not really competing because we don't have anybody left. We have Byron Buxton. Hey.
He hit a home run yesterday, too.
Right. Pablo Lopez is out with Tommy John. Joe Ryan's dealing with health concerns throughout the spring. They're going to be awful. I think the Twins are going to be awful. I mean, they're going to be sellers midseason. I mean, last year they sold almost everybody on their team.
Yeah. They sold everything but the bathroom sinks.
Yes.
And still went for it this offseason. Like, what are you guys doing?
The storylines of this division before we get to the awards. This is Detroit's win, though. Can Bobby Witt Jr. steal the division? Guardians are kind of stuck in baseball purgatory. The White Sox are bad but watchable. And what are the Twins doing? I would say those are the headlines of this division.
I would agree with that 100%. Yes.
All right. In terms of the overall newcomer of the year,
easy.
I'm going to go with Framber Valdez, newcomer of the year.
That would be the obvious
You're
one.
taking the rookie, though.
I am taking the rookie. I'm taking Kevin McGonigal. I think he's going to adapt very, very well. He made the opening day roster. He's going to be a big problem, I think, for pitchers this year. Of course, Framber Valdez, the easy pick, especially in that big rotation. We'll see him on Friday, but I think the rookie is going to surprise some people.
MVP, anybody besides Bobby Witt Jr.?
Nope, nobody better in that division.
Do we even need to do the Cy Young?
Nobody better in that division.
Then Tarek Skubal.
Nope.
Tarek Skubal will be our pick for that. So we both think the Tigers win the division. We both think the Twins come in last. I got Framber Valdez as my newcomer of the year. He's got Kevin McGonigal. We both think Bobby Witt Jr. and Tarek Skubal win the MVP and the Cy Young of the AL Central. When we come back, big news in San Diego yesterday over in Linda Vista. We'll talk about the impact that yesterday made on the future of the University of San Diego when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. There was a time when March Madness belonged to the Cinderellas. George Mason made a Final Four. VCU made a Final Four. Loyola Chicago, Florida Atlantic, all these mid-majors turned the tournament upside down. Even San Diego State. But that era might be fading because now with the unlimited transfers and NIL money, power conference teams can basically reload every year, and they're pulling the best players away from smaller schools before they ever become Cinderellas. So what we're seeing now is fewer upsets, fewer double-digit seeds making deep runs, and more chalk at the top of the bracket. But here's the interesting part. The games might actually be better this way. The competition is stronger, the teams are more complete, but something feels different because March Madness without chaos isn't bad. It's just not the same March Madness we grew up with. This week in college basketball, the NCAA Tournament is reminding us of something we've kind of known for a while now. March Madness is still madness, but it just doesn't look the same anymore. Because if you look at the bracket right now, the story isn't just who is winning, it's who isn't. The mid-major Cinderella run, the kind that defined the modern era of the tournament, feels like it's fading, and that raises a bigger question. Is March Madness actually better when the upsets are rare instead of routine? There was a time when a George Mason type team felt like a once in a generation story, but after that unforgettable 06 Final Four run, it wasn't a one-time thing. It became a trend. We got VCU in 2011. We got Wichita State in 2013. We got Loyola Chicago and Sister Jean in 2018. We got Florida Atlantic and San Diego State in 2023. Butler going all the way to the title game in 2010 and again in 2011. And even the biggest barriers started following. A 16 seed beating a 1 seed never happened until UMBC shocked Virginia. Then it happened again when Farley Dickinson beat Purdue. A 15 seed upset used to be rare. Now it happens almost every year. For a while, the NCAA tournament felt wide open, like anyone can make a run. But that version of March Madness is starting to disappear.
Yeah, and it is sad to see. But also, as you mentioned there, right at the very end of the monologue, is that it might not be the worst thing overall, because when you have craziness that happens routinely, that happens every single year, it's not really craziness anymore. That's just a thing that happens. So you do need it to go away for a little while for it to feel special again. And I think we've gotten so used to seeing that Cinderella story happen every single year that we're expecting it. And because of that, it is becoming a little bit less special when it does happen.
Yeah, we're seeing it everywhere. Players are leaving in majors for national contenders. Depth is stacking at Blue Bloods, less continuity at smaller programs. And the results is you're getting fewer true Cinderella teams. This year's tournament has shown it's clearly not many double-digit seeds are surviving deep into the bracket. And even the Sweet 16 is dominated by power conference programs. But here's the twist. Even without constant upsets, the tournament might be actually better basketball. The games are cleaner. The matchups are stronger. The elite teams are truly elite. But you get that missing feeling of that unpredictability that made every postseason feel like history. Because March Madness without Cinderellas isn't bad. It's just different. And the sport might actually be in a transition phase, not the end of Cinderella, but a reset, a recalibration, a moment where the system is stabilizing after years of chaos. But my take on this is I liked March Madness for the funness, the fun of upsets early in the tournament. Either way, the best teams are usually near the end of the tournament. But the fact that you didn't get any 13 to 16 seeds in the Sweet 16 for the second straight year in a row, and the fact that it's all Power 4 schools again for the second year in a row, that's trending in a direction that I don't think is necessarily good for the NCAA.
Yeah, it certainly is a problem. And I do agree with you. But again, you also can't have it be expected every single year, because then when it does happen, that deep run is not nearly as special anymore. So you want to keep that air of anything can happen. Sometimes you do get clunkers. Sometimes you do get bad years. Sometimes you do get snooze fests. But then there are other times where you get just absolute insanity. And that is what keeps you going back, is for that rare time when it does happen, because like, oh my God, we actually got it this year. Instead of, okay, yeah, this is the standard number 14 seed going into the Elite Eight or Sweet 16.
The perfect version of March Madness probably isn't a tournament full of upsets.
No.
It's also not a bracket full of chalk. It's a balance. A few early shockers, one or two real Cinderella runs, and then the heavyweights taking over when it matters most. The question moving forward is whether college basketball can find that balance again, or whether we've entered a new era where the magic only shows up in flashes. Either way, March is still March. It just doesn't belong to anyone anymore. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. We're giving you some previews of the MLB season. We're going to talk about the American League West a little bit later on. Joining us in the next segment, we are going to have a preview of the Detroit Tigers before they come to town. Dan Dickerson, their radio play-by-play man, will join us at 11:35 in just a matter of moments. We're going to get back into the previews a little bit later on in the show with the American League West, but do want to mention some local stuff here in town. The University of San Diego has formally now introduced their brand new basketball coach that joined us last Wednesday, a week ago today, J.R. Blount. And J.R. Blount is got to be introduced yesterday to the media in front of the local media in terms of they just had his introductory press conference, everything like that. They had a mariachi band, they had the crowd, they had energy as he was introduced to the University of San Diego, and a transformational point in this athletic department for USD basketball. And it might be the most important hire in program history. I mean, this wasn't just a hire. This is a statement of intent of we want to win and we want to compete and we want to be a university here in San Diego that is competing at a high level in all our sports at the D1 level. And we have to do that by starting with our basketball team. And we have to get our basketball team right in order for the rest of our programs to be very good. Blount comes from Iowa State. He's on the Cyclone staff right now, who are in the Sweet 16. So he's been flying back and forth between San Diego and Ames, as well as wherever they happen to be playing. And I don't have the bracket in front of me, so I don't know what city they're in as of right now. But, Blount is known for elite defense. They're top 5 nationally in efficiency. The Iowa State Cyclones are. And the coaching philosophy is we're going to start with defense. Build offense through turnovers and transition. USD trying to build a modern identity of defense first, disruptive, and athletic. As I look at that, Frank, what school in town reminds you of that? Playing defense first.
I honestly, I was not paying attention.
San Diego State.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Defensive first mindset, right? Defensive first mindset. And that's what has led San Diego State to be the program that they have now turned themselves into. And the biggest thing for USD is the fact that they need to be able to commit more money to their programs. They got to be able to commit more money to their basketball program. And according to the reports and according to yesterday's press conference and a lot of the reports coming from the San Diego Union-Tribune, USD is committing more money for players and NIL and revenue sharing. They have invested in a new basketball performance center, which is huge because USD historically hasn't competed financially. Now they're signaling we're getting into the game. And they've created an opportunity to be able to do this at the perfect time. And the biggest reason why this hire matters is the conference is wide open right now for San Diego to take advantage of the WCC. The last couple of years, you had Oregon State and Washington State. Well, they're out of the conference now. Just kind of a little bit of a spot for them for the time being as they try to reform the Pac-12. And then they did by taking Gonzaga with them, who is in basketball the best team in that conference. I mean, absolutely the best team in that conference. It's not even close. So you don't have to worry about big bad Gonzaga anymore. Washington State and Oregon State are leaving the conference as well. Those are the other two former Power 4 schools that have way more resources than San Diego has, and they're out of the conference. And now the longest and the two biggest competitors for the conference in basketball is St. Mary's and Santa Clara. Well, St. Mary's just lost longtime head coach Randy Bennett. He leaves. He understands the writing on the wall of Gonzaga not being there anymore. So longtime coach Randy Bennett's gone. He's not going to be at St. Mary's next year. Who knows how St. Mary's is going to be in basketball post Randy Bennett. And even with Randy Bennett there, it's not like they were advancing too far in the NCAA tournament. They were getting outclassed a lot in the NCAA tournament. That's not a team that is by far further along than you are. And then you look at Santa Clara. Like Santa Clara's had some pretty good teams. They pushed Kentucky to the edge in the NCAA tournament. One of the three schools that made the NCAA tournament of the WCC. They might lose their head coach in Herb Sendek. They do that. I mean, all of a sudden, this thing is wide open for San Diego to take advantage of. With a good coaching hire and investment in the team, USD can start to become a program that's on the rise. Now, the other program that they might have to deal with is UCSD in a couple of years when they join the conference in the WCC because they got resources that they can use. And again, they don't have football. And when you don't have football, it saves you a lot of money. USD still has football. USD's got to spend money to fly to the Pioneer League, right? I mean, I don't know what the situation is with them and continuing to be a non-scholarship football program. If they're still a non-scholarship football program, they got to play in the non-scholarship football league, which is all on the East Coast. That takes away a lot of money. But if the reports are true, and the athletic director at the University of San Diego and Kimya Massey has actually compiled a war chest for USD, and they can spend it on basketball, with Gonzaga leaving and Oregon State and Washington State leaving, and now some uncertainty at St. Mary's and Santa Clara, with a brand new coach and investment of up to $2 to $4 million into the team, USD could be in contention for an NCAA tournament bid by winning the WCC. It's not crazy. Now, here's the deal with USD. I mean, now's the time that you got to really set a foundation. They tried to do it with Steve Lavin. They had a 36% win rate under Steve Lavin. Steve Lavin actually leaves San Diego with the worst record in San Diego history as a head coach. They never made the NCAA tournament. They haven't made the NCAA tournament since 2009. So they're not really reloading. They're starting. It's not really a rebuild. It is a build at this point. But now the roster reality And JR's he's going to have to put some time in when it comes to putting in a roster. And right now he's still coaching with Iowa State. So I don't know who he's going to be able to do that. But until the season is over for Iowa State, he can't really fully focus on what the roster is going to be for the University of San Diego. He's walking into a uncertain returning roster, potential mass turnover. And according to him, when asked about it for his plan, he's going to recruit high-character players. He's going to tap into the transfer portal. He's going to look into the European pipeline, something that San Diego hasn't really taken too much of a big dive into. They had a couple of European pros on their team this year, but nothing really significant. Something that San Diego State hasn't done yet that probably they should jump in on too. It sounds like they're doing that. And they're going to modernize the roster building, free agency, global scouting to try to bring in some players for this team. So what does success look like for San Diego, the University of San Diego and their basketball program? Be competitive immediately in a weakened WCC. I think that's definitely a short-term success goal for USD. And I don't think it's that crazy to accomplish. I think that's pretty obtainable in terms of a goal. The bold expectation from the admin is win the West Coast Conference quickly and reach the NCAA tournament. In this day and age of college athletics, you can do that with the proper funding. You could do that with the right coach. And with the conference that they have, I think it's very easy. It's a lot easier for them to accomplish. You're not asking J.R. Blount to take a team like USD and go win a highly competitive Pac-12 with Gonzaga and San Diego State and who knows who else might eventually go in that conference. You're asking J.R. Blount with funding to beat San Francisco and beat Santa Clara and beat St. Mary's and beat Pacific. And to be honest with you, beat a handful of teams that they were already able to beat with Steve Lavin and with not a $4 million roster. So the big picture takeaway from yesterday with the announcement of J.R. Blount coming in to be the new head coach of the University of San Diego's men's basketball program, it's a program-defining moment. USD is spending more, they're betting on upside, and they're taking advantage of timing. The expectations might be ahead of reality, but this is a big step in the right direction. When we come back, we are going to get you a preview of the opening series against the Tigers. Tigers play-by-play man Dan Dickerson joins us next. Tell you everything you need to know about Tarek Skubal, Framber Valdez, and company as they roll into town to start the 2026 season. Dan Dickerson joins us next on the Braden Surprenant Show. Standings Urban Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan. Here's the biggest lie in the NFL right now. You can win free agency because you can't. And the data proves it. Over a 10-year span, more than half of the top free agents didn't even live up to their contracts, not exceed them, didn't even meet expectations, and nearly 30% were straight up disasters. But every March, we do the same thing. Fans celebrate, teams flex on social media, and everybody thinks they just fixed their franchise overnight. Meanwhile, the truth is the exact opposite. The biggest contracts are often the worst investments. Running backs, bust rate. Wide receivers, overpaid. Quarterbacks, total gamble. The teams that actually win in this league don't build through free agency. They survive it. They draft well, they develop talent, and then they use free agency like a tool, not a foundation. So when your team wins the offseason, history says they probably didn't. What just happened this weekend or this last couple of weeks? NFL free agency. Excitement, headlines, splash moves. Fans and teams convince themselves that they won the offseason, but history says that's usually not true.
Yeah, no, studies of the top 500 top free agents from 2023 to 2022, their average grade for that is just a 2.26 out of 6, which is well below average. Only 41% of signings are actually, quote unquote, successful. 58% are disappointment or worse. Nearly 30% are major failures or disasters, and only 4.2% are Pro Bowl or superstar level. That is more than half the time these teams are regretting the deals that they're making.
And from 2013 to 2022, that's a large sample size of free agent contracts. And what happens to these NFL teams that sign these particular deals? And this is where teams get it wrong, paying for hype and not value. Biggest names are not the safest bets. Top tier free agents actually perform worse than mid-tier ones, and teams overestimate their ability to pick the right guy. Skill positions are a trap market. Worst success rate, 10% success rate for running backs, approximately 30% success rate for wide receivers, and quarterbacks are very volatile and risky. Meanwhile, safeties, O-line, D-line, much safer investments. Teams chase highlights instead of impact. And I could have told you that. Just as a football coach, where you have success is in the trenches and safeties and linebackers because they fill out special teams. That is where your value is for contracts. It's not paying wide receivers. It's not paying running backs. It's not spending money on positions that would make a upgrade to your fantasy team, Frank. You got to build within the trenches, and you got to keep everything young by going through the draft.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. You do need those players. You do need those pieces. You do need the big star wide receiver. You do need help in those areas, but not at the price that you are going to have to pay for them during a free agency window. And another thing here, age really matters more than teams admit. The best window is for a 24 to 27-year-old when they hit free agency. Productive drops when players hit their late 20s and into their early 30s, but teams still pay these guys not for what they're doing, but for what it says on the back of their card.
And here's why teams keep doing it. It's that hope. It's that human element, right? It's the hope over logic. It's the pressure to win the offseason. It's ownership wants headlines. They want the hype. They want people and their fans excited about the season. And general managers bet on being the exception. Every team thinks, yeah, but our guy is different. But the reality is hits exist. They are very rare. Like short-term quarterback swings, you're really getting lucky. Like the Sam Darnolds of the world, right? It's
Daniel
like,
Jones.
Look, this worked out for one season. But, there are some strategic fix, but disasters pile up. Big money quarterbacks flop. Wide receiver deals age poorly. Injury risk kills contracts. I mean, I look at like the free agent signing of Russell Wilson multiple times going like, really? Or the trade for Russell Wilson too. It's like, this guy is not worth the amount of money that you're spending to make a big headline splash. And to be honest with you, really look like you're building a fantasy team instead of an actual football team.
Yeah. And this one came down while we were doing our show on Monday as we record this. Travis Kelce just signed a new 3-year deal rounded up worth about $55 million. He is not worth $55 million anymore. That is a huge overpay for the Kansas City Chiefs for a guy who they were talking all year about him possibly retiring at the end of the season. Now to get a 3-year, $55 million contract in free agency, that is insane for the Kansas City Chiefs to do that, even with a player they have a rapport with.
That's such a emotional signing for the Kansas City Chiefs from so many different aspects of that particular deal. But, free agency is not how you build a winner in the National Football League. It's how you patch some holes. It's how you take calculated swings. And baseball's back. Opening night is live on Netflix tonight. Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees clash with Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants. Opening night, Yankees, Giants, live on Netflix, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That means only one thing. We got opening day coming up very shortly. We will be live at Baja Ricks tomorrow from 10 to noon, and then we'll be ready for Padres baseball after that. Ben and Woods will be out there tomorrow morning from 6 to 10. Should be a great time. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Before we dive into opening day, Tarek Skubal and the Detroit Tigers come in to take on Nick Pivetta and the San Diego Padres. And for more of a preview, we get to talk with longtime and great broadcaster for the Detroit Tigers. He is the radio play-by-play guy, man, for the Tigers. He's going to be doing some TV this weekend for the Tigers baseball organization. His name is Dan Dickerson. He joins us on the Braden Surprenant show. Dan, what's going on? Hopefully you're enjoying your opening day eve, if you will.
Oh, yeah. I'm at a local coffee shop, standing in the sunshine, and can't wait. There's just nothing like the start of a baseball season, is there?
Absolutely not. Well, and welcome to San Diego. I mean, I'm sure you've had many of cold opening days mixed with some, probably some great ones on the road as well. But an opening day in San Diego, that's pretty different for the Detroit Tigers.
I love experiencing the opening days, the home openers for teams, around the league. I've not experienced it here, obviously, and I'm looking forward to it. And yes, strategically, the Tigers have, I think, requested to start on the road in warm weather cities the last 2 years. It's going to be cold when we go back to Detroit anyway, but why not at least start in some sunshine? And it sounds like perfect tomorrow.
I do want to ask, and we're going to dive into this this series in just a little bit, but when the schedule came out, I know it comes out in the middle of the year, the previous year, so obviously you're breaking down and getting your notes ready for upcoming ball games, but the first time you saw the schedule and you saw San Diego opening day, that had to be a little exciting, right?
Oh, I love it. I mean, it does make sense to start in a warm weather city, but no, I absolutely love starting on the road. It's a big deal to get a West Coast trip out of the way early so that, you don't have that in September. It really does make a difference if you have to go to the West Coast in September, if you're fighting for a playoff spot. And to get that out of the way early is good. I love San Diego. My wife's family has roots going back generations in San Diego. So it's always, AJ is like his favorite spot because he was in the front office here. So yeah, it definitely was my eyes lit up when I saw that.
No, that's awesome. And welcome home, a little bit of a homecoming then for Dan Dickerson back in San Diego. That's great to hear. So it's going to be a good series. The pitching matchups all weekend should be very nice. Obviously got a new addition for the Detroit Tigers and Framber Valdez that will debut, but let's talk about Tarik Skubal first. This offseason was very interesting for Tarik. he had to go through arbitration. He won the biggest case in arbitration in baseball history. I think a lot of people thought maybe he might have, gotten lowballed by the Tigers. But with all of that trauma and the WBC and going back and forth with Team USA, it's a pretty interesting offseason for Tarik Skubal. How has he been at camp getting into the season?
He's Tarik Skubal. He's truly one of the great people you're going to meet. The personality that goes with the talent is why he means so much to this organization. And so he handled it all. The whole thing. I don't think it was the low ball offer is what it looked like, but there were some complicating factors to that, or there's at least some details that kind of got lost. The Tigers never got a counter offer from Scott Boras when they made their initial offer. You're supposed to get that before, filing day. So anyway, there was a lot to that. He handled it fine. The Team USA thing, anybody who gave him crap for not making another start just didn't understand. He was only going to make one start. That was the deal. He wasn't going to pitch, and he's like, okay, I will do it if I can just make one start. So that was the deal from the start. There's no more loyal participant and starting pitcher than Tarik Skubal for Team USA, but that was the deal. He wanted to make sure that he got ready for this season, and that's why the last two starts were with the Tigers. So I just think he's an incredible person. He's got a great family, 2 little boys, and Chris Fetter said it really well when he got the Cy Young, and he made a little speech, for Tarik before he got the award, and just like, what? This is a guy who's had to work for everything. He was a 9th round pick coming off Tommy John surgery at little Seattle University. He threw 95. He's now throwing 98 and 100. And he has made himself into the best pitcher in the game, arguably one of the top 2, because of his hard work and his dedication to his craft. And each year now, he's trying to get better in some way. And last year, after winning a Cy Young, he did get better. And these small little edges at the margins. And I don't know. I can't say enough good things about him, but he's handled everything that went on this winter. And it was a lot. He handled it fine.
He's going to be making the opening day start against Nick Pivetta. It should be a good one tomorrow. We look forward to that. With Tarik Skubal, Dan, again, and there's a lot of, it's a contract here, so it's tough, right? He's got to be able to worry about the business. It's the business side of sports as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be, pressure on him to perform. I'm sure there's pressure on the Tigers to perform before the trade deadline to make sure he stays.
Yeah.
And honestly, Dan, I think everybody in baseball that are baseball fans want to see him stay in Detroit. I would imagine that's probably their number one priority this season and maybe into the offseason. You mentioned, dealing with Scott Boras is very difficult, but at this point in time, what's the latest on the Tigers and their attitude towards trying to keep him part of the organization for a long time?
Yeah, it's up very close to the vest, but here's how I look at it. Everybody expects he's going to be gone after this year. I mean, literally everybody. So what I've been saying all winter is, let's at least explore the possibility.
Yes.
Whatever you think the chances are of him staying, what would that look like? And I think when you start thinking that way, you realize, let's call it 8 years, $320. All right, that's probably in the ballpark, right? $40 million a year. Maybe he needs to be at 43 to be the highest average annual value pitcher out there. But let's talk about how that could be a very good business decision. In other words, that contract would pay for itself even if he gets hurt 1 year and you lose 1 year, the 7 years you have him, because he'll come back if there's an injury, because there always could be, right? He'll come back strong because he's Tarek Skubal and he works at it. So you could say that, more butts in the seat, marketing opportunities, a better chance of winning any postseason series, and a better chance, therefore, of winning a World Series. Your franchise value goes up. Free agents want to come to the Tigers. All these things are real. And to me, you could make the business case, if you're Scott Harris to Chris Ilitch, that this contract, and again, I'm just throwing out a number, but I think $40 million a year is where you have to be, could pay for itself. When Chris Ilitch said all along, the owner of the Tigers, I'll spend when the time is right. And then he went out and got Framber Valdez at $38.5 million a year while keeping Tarek Skubal, and they knew they were going to lose that arbitration case at $31 million a year. He is willing to pay $79 million a year for two pitchers this year. To keep those same two pitchers, and Valdez will be back next year, it might cost you $10 million more, right? If Skubal's at $40 million. He has shown he's willing to do it. Then you can get creative. The Dodgers do signing bonuses. They do deferred contracts. That's a tool. To get to the number he needs. Figure out what the number is. Get to that number by being creative. And I really, really believe me, I'm in the minority on this. I really believe you could make a deal.
Absolutely, Dan, and I think that'd be great for baseball to have as many of these stars spread out amongst a lot of teams. We here in San Diego, we got a lot of big name stars, and it's worked so well in signing these guys to long-term deals.
Yeah, you guys have done it, and look what it's doing for your franchise. The energy level in this ballpark when we were here 2 years ago, wow! And you can picture that being the case with the Tigers if they keep Tarek Skubal, and they're good every year. It really is fun.
We're talking with Dan Dickerson, who's the radio play-by-play man of the Detroit Tigers, doing a little bit of TV this weekend for the Tigers organization. Dan, let's talk about Framber Valdez. That's another thing. Again, the pessimistic baseball fans going like, well, look, they signed Framber. Now Tarek Skubal's definitely going to leave. I don't know. They got a pretty,
what people were saying.
Right. They got a pretty good 1-2 punch that they probably want to hang on to. How has Framber looked in a Tigers uniform? How has he adjusted to the organization? And what should Padres and Tigers fans expect in seeing him for the first time live on Friday?
Yeah, and it's funny you say how he looks in a Tiger uniform, because that was the first thing that struck me. The first start is like a 2-inning start in spring training. I'm like, oh, I like the looks of this. I like Framber Valdez standing on the mound in a Tiger wearing the Old English D Tiger uniform. So he is just, he looks like Framber Valdez. He admitted, he didn't have a great finish last year. It was a 6 ERA his last 10 starts. But he's like, he was distracted. He admitted, I'm human. Free agency was on my mind. Tigers just felt like teams were starting to charge him because he's, was in the strike zone. They started to charge him. Then he shied away from the strike zone. There's no concerns about this stuff. This guy can freaking pitch. The stuff is good. The curveball's ridiculous. And then everything's on the ground. If there's hard contact, it's on the ground. And I don't know. I saw 3 of his starts this spring. He just looks like the guy we've seen in Houston the last few years. A ground ball machine, power arm, swing and miss with the curveball, and it's a 3-pitch mix, but he can throw each of those pitches probably 3 different ways. He's just going to be a huge addition to the rotation.
And a rotation that also has Jack Flaherty, who will be pitching over the weekend for the Detroit Tigers. He's back in the Tiger uniform after signing a deal last year. In terms of the offense, though, there's some veteran players on this team, Dan, as well as a lot of young guys that they are really excited about. From an offensive standpoint, talk to us a little bit about the young guys that the Tigers team has that are expected to be major contributors for the Tigers, not only this year, but for the next couple of years.
Yeah, they had 6 guys 27 years old or younger who all, were above average OPS plus guys last year. And that's a nice number. And that doesn't even include Zach McKinstry, who had a big year at age 30. Gleyber Torres was above average, and he kind of pewtered out down the stretch. But Gleyber Torres is a big part of the offense. This offense, through 146 games, or 90% of the season, was the top 3 offense in the American League. They faltered down the stretch, yes, but to me that was kind of a lot of young at-bats. They had over half their at-bats were by players 26 years old or younger. And, as the Tigers say, yeah, we have to hit good pitching. They faced a lot of good pitching, but there were some young at-bats. Okay, let's go to work on that. Let's talk about approaches. Let's talk about your approach from the beginning of the at-bat. And again, you got a core led by Green, Torkelson, and Carpenter with a thump, but Dylan Dingler had a heck of a year, hit 278 after struggling in his debut in 24. Cole Key still has tremendous upside. And when they didn't sign anybody, people are like, they really needed to sign another bat this winter. Gleyber Torres coming back when he accepted the qualifying offer, to me, was an indication that that's probably the last move they're going to make. He's a big piece of the offense because of his quality at bats. And you also if you sign a big name free agent like an Alex Bregman, which everybody talked about, now you're blocking Kevin McGonigal. Kevin McGonigal's a real deal. He had a great spring. The big questions for him were about his defense. This kid can play defense at short, and especially we saw him a lot at third. So Kevin McGonigal now has that position to play. If you sign Alex Bregman, he doesn't have a spot basically other than shortstop, which he can play. But to have that versatility at either spot, the days that Framber Valdez pitches and there's going to be a ton of ground balls, it's going to be Javi Baez at short and Kevin McGonigal at third. So the offense to me has plenty of weapons. There's still upside for a lot of guys. Everybody talked about Riley Green and his strikeouts last year. Yes, he led the American League, but he also hit 36 home runs and drove in 111. And he went to work this winter to try to make sure that he could make more contact this year, cut the strikeouts. But I really feel pretty good about the offense. Basically, for 90% of the year, they were a top 3 offense in the American League, faltered down the stretch, but they definitely have enough pieces to be, I think, a top 5 offense. To me, it's still, you win championships with pitching defense, right? And if you have a top 5 offense for the top 3 team in run prevention, that should get you to 90 wins plus and really get you deep into the postseason.
We're talking with Dan Dickerson, is the radio play-by-play man of the Detroit Tigers here on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking, it's better. Dan, what clicked last year for Javier Baez? I mean, Javi Baez was looking at a bad contract for the Tigers because of that 6-year, $140 million deal that he signed. He didn't look anything like what he did in Chicago, as he struggled again with the Mets, and he struggled in his early part with the Tigers. But last year, he was a big asset for Detroit. Is that something, what he did last year, is that something that he can replicate in 2026?
Yeah, I think, he had a very productive first half, made the All-Star team. He wasn't even on the depth chart for center field, and he ends up playing center field a lot early, and that's how he made the All-Star team as an outfielder. And I think that's the best role for him. He really did struggle down the stretch when he played more at the plate. Defense is always good. But I think the Tigers look at him as a guy whose value is best at probably limiting the number of plate appearances while moving him around second, short, and center field. That's a really valuable piece. AJ Hinch loves his flexibility, and he's got lots of it built into this roster. But anytime you can have a guy who plays shortstop well and center field really well, that's a nice piece for him to have. So the offense definitely, it has to pick up. He's still very vulnerable to a right-on-right slider. We know that. But if he could just get back to being a a 680, 700 OPS guy with the position flexibility and how well he plays defense, that's still a really valuable piece.
Got a familiar face back. Justin Verlander back in the Tigers uniform again. 20 years service time for the future Hall of Famer. What's it been like to have Justin Verlander back and working with some of the young guys in the pitching staff, but also working with some of the starting pitchers that are already dominant on this Tigers team?
Yeah, I would love to be a fly on the wall, wouldn't you? Just to listen to the conversations they're having with Fromber, with Tarek, all of them, because whenever one throws a bullpen during the regular season, all the starters go down to watch. And that's where those conversations take place. It, might result in that one little piece of information or one little word of advice or one little thought that helps a pitcher tweak a pitch or sequence better, whatever it might be. And there's a lot of that going on. And I loved what he said at his press conference. Is like, I'm a different person. Well, yeah, he's 43, but I noticed this a couple years ago when he came to town with the Mets. Having a baby girl now 7 years old really did change him, and he admits that. I'm a better teammate now. I'm trying to be a better teammate. But what does that mean? That means more conversations. Young pitchers have told me he's very approachable. Well, geez, think about that. They can approach him with any topic, any question. And I think the impact that he will have on this staff with 20 years of wisdom to pass along, in addition to a guy who can still pitch, he was up to 96 in the last start I saw about a week ago. He's going to have an impact beyond just the numbers. But don't get me wrong, he can still pitch. He's not coming back just for a little sentimental reasons.
Dan, I enjoyed our conversation today. Really appreciate it. Frank and I will be in the press box the next couple of days too, so we'll stop by and say hi.
Hello,
Thanks again for the conversation. It was great. I think our audience is well informed on the Detroit Tigers now.
All right, Braden, enjoyed it. Thank you.
Dan Dickerson, radio play-by-play man of the Detroit Tigers, joining us on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. It was a great conversation talking with Dan about the Tigers. A lot of interesting things. I think the stuff that he said about Justin Verlander is very interesting. I think you're seeing that with other players now too. And to be honest with you, I think Manny Machado and what he was in the first couple of years in San Diego and what he is now is two totally different Manny Machados in the clubhouse. And it's something about, being a dad, right? And being responsible for another life that, and being a parent that leads to, being a better teammate to a lot of people. Not to say Manny wasn't a good teammate. He's always been a great teammate, but you're starting to see him kind of be different than what the media wants to portray Manny Machado, from the East Coast a little bit. And I think you see that with Justin Verlander too. I thought that was very interesting what Dan had to say about Verlander in Detroit and his comeback in Detroit, being approachable for a lot of the young players, kind of understanding the role that he has as a 43-year-old veteran, Frank. I thought that was really cool.
And it also changes as time goes on. You're not actively fighting for a spot. You're not constantly under threat of someone taking your job. You're already established in this league. You're not going to get DFA'd or anything like that if you're Justin Verlander, especially by the Detroit Tigers. I don't see it. It does make a lot of sense that he's now, as you get older, you're more willing to pay it forward than you were at the start of your career when you were trying to build a name and trying to get to the top and stay there. He's been there. He knows it's at the back end of his career. He has a lot of knowledge that he can give, that he can pass along to help an organization that he has so much history with. And I wouldn't be surprised if this process started during his time with the Houston Astros as well.
Right. 100%. I forgot that they signed Verlander.
I did too. Yeah.
For a long, but their rotation is good. It's going to be tough to score runs, I think, this weekend for the Padres. It's going to be a big challenge for the Padres against Tarek Skubal, against Framber Valdez, and then Jack Flaherty, who's been a problem for the Padres in the past. There's been very up and down results for the Padres against Jack Flaherty, but the big silver lining in this is, yes, it is going to be difficult. The Padres do have a good lineup. They're ranked the top 10 lineup in Major League Baseball, but the fact that you get them early, I think, is huge. I think you want to get pitchers early in the season more than later in the season.
But just how crazy is that thought? You're facing a Detroit Tigers team without Justin Verlander, and he's not the opening day starter.
And he's not even part of the top 3. You're not going to see him at all.
That's a thought right there.
I know. Tell that to somebody 10 years ago, right? Got to get to the bullpen this weekend. AL West preview when we come back.
The regular season has finally.
It's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New Lunchtime Hour on the Fan is brought to you by the Craft Taco. Bold flavors, 2 locations, Sorrento Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum.
I'm waiting for the tacos. Where are the damn tacos at?
Where are the tacos at? Where are the tacos at? It's a Taco Wednesday. Every day's a taco day, Frank. Every day's a taco day. Every day's a taco day. Especially here in San Diego. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We are going to break down the American League West here in this hour. We are also going to break down the National League East later on in this hour. We will try to get to our midday sports standoff today as well. We're going to need a contestant for that. Coming up in the 1 o'clock hour, we have tickets to give away for Bob Dylan. We'll tell you how you can win those in the 1 o'clock hour. We're going to break down the National League West more in the 1 o'clock hour. Here in this hour, I don't know what direction I want to go yet. I do at some point. We are going to go through the Padres schedule again at some point today. I don't think it's necessary. Our show tomorrow is going to be quick. It's going to be a lot about opening day. It's going to be a lot about the festivities, right? I don't know how much time we're going to have to go through the Padres schedule tomorrow, but I do want to give everybody a refresher on what the Padres schedule is like. Where is it difficult? Where is it not? Where are they going to really make their hay? That's going to be sometime today. It's either going to be the next segment or in the next 45 minutes or so, maybe into the next hour. We're going to break down the Padres schedule. Again, give you a refresher. We've done it a couple of times. We did it when it came out last season. We did it a little bit in the offseason, but that, sometimes you forget what's going on with the Padres schedule. Who they play after the Tigers? They got the Giants. And they go to Boston. They go to Pittsburgh. But after that, what do we know about where things line up? When do they play the Dodgers? All of this. I think sometimes we forget as fans we're doing other things. It's the offseason. We're working on other stuff. But we'll get you back and locked in on the Padres schedule. We talked about some of the great food in Major League or for the Padres coming up. USA Today had an article about all the food options around the country. Oh, man. Maybe you got to plan some trips, watch the Padres on the road for some of these things. I tell you what, that's Kyle Schwarber ice cream sundae looks pretty good in Philly. There's a lot of other stuff, too. I am going to the Boston series. I will be at I'm shipping up to Boston, Nate. I'll be up there for the Boston series. I think I'm only going to one of the games, though. We're going to do some other stuff in Boston as well. But, yes, that will be next week. So, next Thursday, I will be off. We're already off next Friday because the Padres will play in the morning because it's the Red Sox opening day next Friday. So we'll have more. We'll talk more about that next week. We do want to get to the American League West preview, but before we do that, let's get to Frank and Rancho Bernardo. Wait a minute. Any relation to this, Frank? Frank and RB, relation. What's going on, man?
I enjoy your show, and I appreciate the job you guys do. I'm very concerned about the Padres this year. I've been a Padre fan for years, but I don't see it this year, Braden, and I'd be surprised if they won 75 games. They have no starting pitching whatsoever. You got two guys coming off fairly severe injuries with King and Musgrove. Pivetta, if he's your ace, he's a 10, 12-game winner, and I don't think they have anything beyond them. I would be shocked if King and Musgrove don't go back on the IL again this year. I don't know how they're going to win, and they really haven't changed their batting order to any great degree or haven't added any power. They were not a run-scoring machine last year. I think their starting pitching is abysmal, and I really don't think they got a shot this year.
Well, Frank. Oh, no. You just got called out in the chat, Frank. No, you, Frank. Caller Frank sounds like in studio Frank. No, that's in studio Frank talking about the Mets. In studio Frank he's not pessimistic about the Pods. He's pessimistic about the Mets. There's two ways to look at this. Now, here's the thing with, and Frank, I appreciate the phone call. Here's how you view the Padres, all right? The reality is, with the roster in certain areas being a major risk, it's either going to be the floor or the ceiling with this team. And the floor is very low and the ceiling is very high. So if you look at it from the perspective that Frank and RB is looking at it, he's looking at it from a glass half empty of like, well, and they're all factual things. They're all real concerns. Is Joe Musgrove going to be able to put things back together in 2026 when he comes back from the injured list? Can Michael King replicate what he did 2 years ago? Can he make it through the season without having multiple injuries? Can Nick Pivetta bounce? Can he follow up a career year with similar numbers to what he did last year? I mean, his numbers last year would be an outlier in a stats class. An outlier. All legitimate concerns. Can Walker Buehler establish himself as a crafty righty and not a power righty that he used to be? Can Armand Marquez find it for the Padres as the number 5 spot in the rotation? Are there anybody else? Can Griffin Canning replicate what he did at the beginning of last season before rupturing his Achilles? I mean, these are all legitimate questions. Can Randy Vasquez make the next step as a young pitcher? These are all valid questions. Now, if you look at it from a positive side of things, you will sit there and be like, I like the way Walker Buehler pitches. He's earned his right on this team. He has now turned himself into a different style of pitcher that can have success. I think Randy Vasquez, with improving his velocity and really learning how to pitch and another year of experience, is going to have a better year than he did last year. I think Nick Pivetta in a contract year can replicate, maybe not equal what he did last year, but that chip on his shoulder to be a Cy Young award winner in the National League, saying that there's 5 guys better than me and I want to be better than those guys this season, on top of the fact this is his only chance to maybe get a big contract. I like that. I think Michael King has a little bit more stability signing the contract that he signed in the offseason that gives him opt-outs, but also gives him guarantees to stay if things don't work out. I think all of those things on a positive side show that I think this team could be better than what maybe Fangraphs is predicting. And that's why I view it as the glass half full of, with these things going right, I think the Padres can have a really good year. Now, if everything goes wrong based on the question marks, yeah, Frank's right. They're going to win like 74 games if everything goes wrong. But I don't think everything's going to go wrong. I think you're going to get a big season out of Fernando. I think you're going to get a better year out of the batting order. I think the additions of Miguel Andujar and Nick Castellanos are going to be good for the Padres. I think the fact that the Padres brought in a lot of young 30-year-olds battling to stay in Major League Baseball is a lot better than what they've done in previous years, bringing in older 30-year-olds. So from all of those perspectives, you're going to have some things that hit, and you're going to have some things that go wrong, and you're going to be somewhere in between. But yes, if everything goes wrong for the Padres, they're going to have a very bad year. But here's the thing. That's going to be the case for everybody else in Major League Baseball. We talked about the American League East and the American League Central. Frank, as we break down these teams, and we got to get to the American League West here, as we break down these divisions, you start to understand that everybody's got massive question marks, and if these things go wrong, they're going to all have terrible years.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's the concerns that Frank brought up are completely valid. I mean, there wasn't one concern there that you could say, oh, you're reaching for this. You're kind of over exaggerating that. No, they were all completely valid concerns. And for this team, he's 100% right. There are a lot of things that if they break, it's going to be disastrous. But as you said, it's the same for every single team. Every single team has those problems where if one thing breaks, it is a complete and utter disaster for their season.
I'm going to bring up a point that Callus All Day has made in the YouTube chat, and I totally agree with this. They won 90 games last year. And they did that with Cease, Pivetta, and Vasquez as the rotation. And we know how good Cease was last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pivetta really carried. But Vasquez, I mean, if you look at who started last year, you have Michael King back now. Like, he didn't pitch most of the year last year. You didn't get any of Joe Musgrove last year. And guess what you didn't have? You really didn't have Yu Darvish last year either. I mean, you had a hodgepodge of starting pitchers. You won 90 games last year. You didn't have a good season out of Jackson Merrill last year, not one that he liked. Fernando was good. He wasn't great. He wants to be better than that. And as of right now, and I totally agree with this, they are starting the season off with a better batting lineup, a better roster, a better bullpen, and a better starting rotation than they did a year ago at this time. So just from those tweaks, I think they are going to have a better season. And here's the other thing too, Frank. I don't know how many times we got to bring this up, but this is not the team that you have to have the entire season. They have room to make improvements at the deadline. AJ Preller always saves money to potentially make some improvements at the deadline. This team, as constructed, Frank, is good enough to get you to the deadline.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're
100%.
good enough to get you to the deadline, to upgrade, to then make a run to make the playoffs. This team, as constructed, yeah, I'd be a little concerned about rolling into a playoff game with this roster. There's a lot of uncertainties, a lot of unknowns. That's what makes the season scary and this beginning of the season concerning. But at the same time, with those unknowns, there's a lot of hope for this team. But again, if some of these things go right, which they will, it might outweigh some of the things going wrong. And there's going to be some things that go wrong with this team. It's just going to be. It happens with every team. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. I mean, even ESPN that, is not super in on this rotation, they ranked the lineup before spring training started as a top 10 lineup. That's without having like Ty France on the bench. I mean, I think this team is going to be a lot better than people think. And here's the other thing too. I just want to say this right now. I think the Padres lose 2 out of 3 this weekend, and I still think they're going to be okay. This is what I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear on Monday a bunch of calls saying I told you so when they lose 2 out of 3 to the Tigers. I have that accounted in my overall win totals for the year. And we'll talk about the Padres schedule. I mean, they have to navigate some difficult stretches, but they also have some stretches where they have to really capitalize. Oh, you already know the sky's falling on Monday if they lose 2 out of 3 to the Tigers, who, by the way, is the favorite to win the Central and is a favorite. It is a favorite to potentially make the playoffs and win the American League. I mean, they have a great rotation.
Falling tomorrow if they lose.
Oh my God!
Falling on Friday if they lose tomorrow.
The only way the sky is not falling if they lose tomorrow is if they lose 1-0 to Tarek Skubal. That's literally it. That'd be the only reason why the sky wouldn't be falling. It's like, hey, well, you know what? We went against Tarek Skubal. Pivetta give up one bad pitch. What are you gonna do? It's baseball. But all right, fire up the music. We've got 5 minutes to talk about the American League West.
It's about all we need for the American League West, if we're honest. Let's go. I got to get back to this because I've been working on 3 other different things here.
We both agree that the Mariners are going to win the division. Although I do think the Rangers and Astros might push them a little bit. I think you're going to get a bounce back out of the Rangers. I think the Astros take a little bit of a step back. I think the A's are going to have a pretty good season. I think they win 80 games. I think the Athletics win 80 games. I think their young core is pretty good. I think the Angels are going to be atrocious. I got them losing 98 games.
I've got the Mariners taking 92 wins. I think that's 2 more than what they had last year. I have the Astros in second, same record as you, actually. I've got the A's and the Rangers flipped. The Rangers have been one of those teams that have been very not good at staying healthy. Now, I know they've somewhat upgraded at some positions, but I see the A's taking a big step this year and getting ready for getting people really ready for them to move to Vegas. I see the A's finishing 3rd, Rangers 4th, and the Angels in stone dead last.
I think the Mariners are definitely the best team in this division.
100%.
ESPN ranked them as the 2nd best team in all of baseball going into spring training. And their franchise centerpiece is Julio Rodriguez. We're going to talk about him in a second. Can they finally break through to the World Series is the big question, because they're are they the only team still that has never made it to the World Series?
They might be.
I think they are the only team that has never made it to the World Series. They added Brendan Donovan. lineup stability. The rotation is still elite with Logan Gilbert and Kirby and Castillo and Wu. Woo. Offensive consistency and avoiding slow starts from J-Rod is going to be key. But I think J-Rod wins the MVP of this division. I think he has a huge bounce back year. He's my pick for the MVP, and I think it's a big reason why the Mariners win this division.
I don't necessarily think that the MVP is going to be the guy who has the biggest season. As I say all the time, most valuable player to their team. And I think with that said, I think the person that's going to be most valuable to their team is going to be Tyler Soderstrom to the A's. He had a very good year last year. He had 25 homers, 93 RBIs, and what was a breakout year for him. I think he had 276, if I remember correctly. If Tyler Soderstrom is on, I think the A's can finish over 500 this year. If he's not, then I see them finishing behind the Rangers. So I think Tyler Soderstrom is going to be the MVP of the West.
I think the A's still have a bounce back year. I think they're going to be pretty good. And I think the next year they're going to be really good. And whenever they finally open up in Las Vegas, because they're building that stadium quickly, they're going to be legit. They're going to be like the vintage age we've seen the last handful of years. I still think the Astros are dangerous. I mean, Yordan Alvarez is their centerpiece. Injuries killed them in 2025. They still missed the playoffs by one game. They got Tetsuya Amai. That's now part of the organization.
Who I have as my divisional newcomer of the year. So
he's a newcomer and could be the newcomer of the year for the Astros. 5'10", 175 pounds. I think Gwen and Chris were talking about yesterday, but he's got good upside, and the rotation's got a lot of upside. I know they lost Framber Valdez, but that's a healthy team. If that's a healthy team, they're going to be competitive. Rangers are very much boom or bust. I think they get the boom more than the bust this year. Watch out for Wyatt Langford. He could have a big breakout year. You know, they have a potential all-star. He's a potential all-star season coming.
Perennial all-star year.
Yeah, I mean, he could potentially have an all-star leap for Wyatt Langford. And the rotation, here's the biggest thing. You brought up the big concern about the Rangers being healthy. If they are, which is big if, Eovaldi and DeGrom, that's a pretty elite 1-2 punch at the top. And then you got like Mackenzie Gore mixed in there, who they just acquired for. So master roster turnover from the 2023 title core, but I think they take a bigger step. The Angels are going to be awful. They have no plan. They have no direction. They're paying a lot of money to just basically ruin Mike Trout's career. Longest playoff drought in MLB. Farm systems near the bottom of the league. I mean, unless Mike Trout goes back to vintage Mike Trout and single-handedly carries this team, they're going to have zero relevance. In Anaheim, we made fun of them a lot yesterday. Their highlights of calling on the Angels are not going to have anything for the Mike Trout era.
No.
Because of how bad they've been. The longest playoff drought in Major League Baseball, and that ain't snapping this year for the Angels. I mean, it's rough to watch. All right. Your newcomer of the year is Tetsuya Amai. I got Brendan Donovan. Mm-hmm. I think Brendan Donovan's going to have a big year for the Mariners. Cy Young, I'm going to go with Nathan Eovaldi because I think the Rangers are going to have a little bit of a bounce back, and you're going with Logan Gilbert.
Yes, I am going with Logan Gilbert.
Main storylines of this division again. Like, I think this is Seattle's time. Is the Astro dynasty still going, or is this the final run? They got an aging core down there in Houston. I mean, are you going to get a rebuild next year? I don't know. This might be the final run for the Astros. Most volatile team in the division is the Texas Rangers. A's are baseball's most fun wild card this year because they could be really good. And the Angels are the baseball's most stuck franchise. They're stuck. I don't know how you fix their problems. At least the Twins have some better players. The Angels are terrible. And that's a look at our AL West predictions. We both got the Mariners winning. We both have the Angels losing. I got Brendan Donovan as my newcomer. He's got Tetsuya Amai. I got Julio Rodriguez as my division MVP. He's got Tyler Soderstrom, Cy Young, Nathan Eovaldi. Frank's got Logan Gilbert. That's it for the American League West. When we come back, Padres schedule. Let's take a look into it a little bit. We haven't looked at the schedule in a long time. How do the Padres start the season? Where are things going to go right? Where are things going to go wrong, potentially? Where are the areas of the schedule they have to do very well in? We'll explain it next on the Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Sermon Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Tyler Reddick, again. Tyler Reddick didn't just win at Darlington. He survived it. Reddick now has 4 wins in the first 6 NASCAR races this season, something only Dale Earnhardt and Bill Elliott have ever done. But here's the crazy part. Everything went wrong. He had a failing alternator, no cool suit in the heat, a terrible 16-second pit stop, and even a late race incident. At one point, he was 7 seconds behind the leader, and somehow he still won. He chased down Brad Keselowski. He made the pass with under 30 laps to go and pulled away. That's not luck. That's dominance. So here's the question. Is Tyler Reddick the best driver in NASCAR right now, or is this just the start of something even bigger? Frank, what can you say about Tyler Reddick?
It was an absolutely fantastic race that he ran. And as you mentioned there in that open, he's joined elite company here. He's on a historic run with his win. 4 wins in the first 6 races. That's only been done by Dale Earnhardt in 1987. He won the championship that year, and Bill Elliott in 1992. So he did not win the championship that year, but that is very, very elite company, and that is the company he is in right now. But not even that tells the full story of how he won this race at Darlington yesterday.
Yeah, officially on a historic run, as you just mentioned. But, how did he win? Well, everything went wrong, and he still won. That wasn't a clean race for Tyler Reddick over the weekend. Not even close. I mean, he dealt with a failing alternator from the start, no driver cooling system in brutal heat, a 16-second pit stop issue, a restart from the back of the field, and even a late race collision. At one point, he was 7 seconds behind the leader in Brad Keselowski, who led for 142 laps. Most drivers would have faded. Reddick didn't. He was able to methodically drive back through the field, catch Keselowski, and with just under 30 laps to go, make the pass for the lead and never looked back.
Yeah, no, and Brad Keselowski and that whole entire RFK team was running tribute paint schemes to the late Greg Biffle. They all had Biffle's number set on the car, both Keselowski, Ryan Preece, and Chris Buescher, and all of them were very, very good. There was a point in that race where they were running first, second, and fourth in that race about halfway through. But yeah, for Reddick, failing alternator, I believe they changed the battery on one of the pit stops. The drivers have been complaining all season long about how hot this new car is and how hot the car runs during the race. So for him to not have a cool suit working was brutal for him in the start. And then that late race collision where, from what we've seen, Chris Buescher was trying to make a late move into the pits, and Reddick just didn't see him and didn't make it, didn't catch him in time, ended up punting him into turn 3 and putting him in the wall. But one of those races where you had to really overcome if you're Tyler Reddick, and he did just that.
Yeah, patience under pressure, elite race pace, most importantly, mental toughness for Tyler Reddick. Even co-owner Michael Jordan pointed out one key factor. Reddick never lost his composure. At a track known as too tough to tame, he proved he can handle chaos better than anyone else. And here's what's coming up next. NASCAR Cup Series now heads to Martinsville Speedway, short track where tempers flare and momentum can shift quickly. But right now, all eyes are on Tyler Reddick for the insane start that he has had to the NASCAR season.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big question is right now, is Tyler Reddick the best driver in NASCAR? Because he's not just winning, it's how he's winning. He's overcoming mistakes, bad luck, mechanical issues, and still beating the field. So is this just a hot start, or are we watching the beginnings of a dominant championship season? And for me, I wouldn't call him the best pure driver in NASCAR. There are a lot of guys who are just as good as Tyler Reddick has been. They just have not had the luck. Chevrolet has a brand new body that they have not won with yet, that is giving them a lot of fits. There are a lot of great drivers in the Chevy camp that just have not been able to show it. Ryan Blaney, over the course of this season, has had several pit stop issues. It happened twice at Phoenix. It happened again at Darlington where he had to stop in a teammate's pit box further down pit road because his crew left a tire loose. So there are a lot of guys who could reach that level that Tyler Reddick is at. Reddick's just gotten there first, and he's been able to maintain it, which has been the key here so far in this early season run.
Go Aztecs in the YouTube chat. That's an interesting question that Frank actually brought up yesterday. And that question is, we got to get to this. We got to get to this. Since it's the prediction show, do we think Tyler O'Neill hits a home run for the 7th straight season on opening day? How much money is getting put on this tomorrow?
More than it should be. I can't think about the show after I just heard the story that you told me.
Yeah, it's really depressing. I don't really want to talk about it on air. It's kind of super sad. I didn't realize that guy was a San Diego guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's so sad. Life is sad sometimes. So, but anyway, let's get to the is Tyler O'Neill in the Orioles?
Yes, he is.
Okay. This is the other part of the season where I'm trying to remember who everybody is, what team everybody's on after the offseason. Are they even playing tomorrow? Are they playing tomorrow? I don't think they're playing tomorrow.
I would have to assume they are. I mean, everyone starts tomorrow.
Oh, they are. They're playing the Twins. Oh, they're playing the Twins tomorrow.
Yeah, they got Baltimore. Yeah, they got Minnesota.
They play the Twins tomorrow in Baltimore. Twins tomorrow in Baltimore. I mean, against Joe Ryan. I don't think he necessarily needs to hit a home run against Joe Ryan. He does have a home run against Joe Ryan. How about that? He had 2 at-bats. He's 1 for 2 with a home run.
Tag it now.
All right. Tyler O'Neill trying to hit a home run on opening day for the 7th straight season. He faces Joe Ryan and the Twins tomorrow at Bandbox. That is Camden Yards.
Former Bandbox. They moved the fences out, remember?
Yeah, that didn't really affect anything.
There were more changes to it, too, this year. They got a whole new scoreboard, too.
Oh, maybe it's the scoreboard that prevents Tyler O'Neill from hitting a home run in 7th straight season. Just because everything is lining up perfectly for this makes me feel like it's not going to happen.
It's going to be a big skirt on one of the stars. It's just off they go.
Tyler O'Neill is playing at a hitter-friendly ballpark at, what is it, 12:05, 3:05? Is it a 3:05 start?
Yes, it's a 3:05 start Eastern.
The 3:05 start. He's playing in a bandbox of a ballpark, and he's going against the guy he's faced twice in his life. And he's 1 for 2 with a home run. And we're going to and against a lousy Twins team. This is the time it snaps. It would be remarkable. A tradition unlike any other. Tyler O'Neill hitting a home run on opening day. If Tyler O'Neill doesn't hit a home run on opening day, did opening day even happen? I just got to say, I don't know if I'd put money on it. 7 straight years of hitting a home run on opening day is absurd.
Yeah, no, that's
they got to bat him leadoff just to try to get as many attempts as possible.
Because I'm sure the Orioles are thinking of that exact thing.
I think their new manager thinks about that.
Yeah, when you're sitting there next to the manager's office, just hearing
"Hey, Birdland"
on repeat, that's what he's thinking. Got to get this guy some hits.
Can you repeat that?
No.
Is that your
No.
Massachusetts accent?
Yes.
For a guy that manages the birds?
Yes.
Hey, Birdland.
Hey, Birdland.
I think for him, you know what? They're going to win for him in his first deal. He would warm up to the fans if he put him lead off. I agree. Hey, Birdland. Leading off, Tyler O'Neill.
Are you saying that they are going to win for Craig Albernez like he's some sort of Make-A-Wish kid?
Excuse me?
They're going to win for him. Like, what do you mean?
They're going to, no. He'd warm up to the fans. He's got to win over this is the public appeal. He's got to win over the fans, man. The guy's from Boston. You can't have a guy from Boston managing the birds. You can't. You can't have it. They're already suspect. They're like, oh, it's a Red Sox plant, man. Could you imagine this town if they hired a manager in San Diego that was actually from Los Angeles and grew up with Dodgers? People would lose their minds, especially if they lost the first game. They'd be like, he's a plant. He's here to destroy us. I think a lot of Orioles fans might think that based on this guy's voice. I got to hear it one more time.
Hey, Birdland.
You know, he could be a plant. I'm just saying. If they want to do the right thing, they bet Tyler O'Neill first. He gets the knock. He gets the home run, right? Hey, he gets the home run. 7 straight years, the opening day home run. Orioles win. It's like a movie. And manager Albernez gets carried off the field. He is now a hometown hero.
Here's the thing, though.
You know what? I know my guy Nick DiNucci is agreeing with me right now somewhere.
They make movies about miracle things that happened.
That would be a miracle thing that happened.
Miracle things that happen don't necessarily come after the movie. You know what I mean? Like that's a movie thing. Movies are made of things that happen, not things happen after movies are made.
Well, what's the movie that was made about this?
No, I'm saying you would say that's a miracle. That would be a miracle thing that they would make a movie about. Those things happen naturally. It's not like, oh, it's the perfect movie script.
I'm just playing.
You think of, wow, that would be a good movie script.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking it into existence. This is what's going to happen. Hey, Birdland.
Hey, Birdland.
I can't wait to play that clip on Friday for when Tyler O'Neill hits a home run. No, I think it's lining up too perfect for Tyler O'Neill to hit another home run on opening day. It's too perfect. He's got the home run already against Joe Ryan. He owns Joe Ryan in the 2 at-bats.
Ben Affleck could play him.
He could.
Matt Damon.
You know what? Instead of the town, it could be the harbor. The yard. Be great. I love it. It's great. I love it. It's fantastic. No, I'm not. Juan in the chat saying I'm treating him like a Rudy type character. No, I'm just saying the guy you can't the thick Boston accent representing Baltimore. Come on, man. Where are my Orioles fans at? I know they don't like that. I know deep down they don't like that. Be the yard. I can't wait. I mean, could you imagine the big voice guy for the previews of that thing? Could you imagine? It'd be great. I don't want to do it. I would embarrass myself.
You get Seth MacFarlane to do the voiceover.
Oh, you know what? I think Seth MacFarlane should be in. Yeah, he could. You know, he could play Tyler O'Neill. He could voice. Tyler
He could
O'Neill.
play. No, he could play Albernez.
No, but Ben Affleck's gonna play Albernez.
Well, no. Well, then, like I said, then he could be the big voice guy. You're the one that made. You're the one that put him in the movie.
Well, then it's comedy because Seth MacFarlane's involved. I don't want to make a mockery of this situation.
As if this whole segment isn't just a comedy segment.
Hey, man, he said talk about the Orioles. We're talking about the Orioles. We're going to talk about the Padres schedule in just a second. By the way, did it fall off? Where'd the Padres schedule go?
I have it so I can see it.
Oh, you can't. You're not going to pull it up on the computer?
I like having
You
paper
ripped
in
it
front
off
of
the
me.
wall? Print another one.
I ripped it off the wall.
I can't believe you.
Like I'm some sort of.
You ripped it off the wall. Look at this. There's probably like a rip on the.
They ripped and hid my friend's 3D printed SD logo that's been hanging on.
It's still
this
here.
Whole time.
It's
no,
still
I know
here.
it is.
I mean,
they ripped that off the wall.
They could have thrown that away. I'm surprised they didn't throw that away.
Why did they throw that away? It was out of the way.
People like throwing away things in here. I print another one. Doesn't cost you anything.
No, it would. It would cost me postage because my friend lives in Michigan.
No, I'm talking about the schedule.
Oh,
print another schedule. Get ripped it off the wall.
I mean, rip it off the wall.
Foul.
There's no
Foul.
rip there. There's no rips. You can see there's no tears. It just took the thumbtack out of it.
All right. When we come back, we're going to preview the National League East, and we'll look at the Padres schedule.
Speaking of being in a contentious mode.
Yeah, let's get Frank going a little bit. Hey, Frank, how do you think the Mets are going to do? That's going to be a great question to ask him. We'll talk about it when we come back.
Quinn and Chris.
San Diego FC might have just got a reality check, and it came fast. After that incredible win over Toluca in the first leg, it looked like San Diego might make a serious run in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. But in Mexico, a completely different story. Toluca dominated San Diego 4-0, outshooting them 27-3, and ending their tournament run just like that. And the struggles didn't stop there. Back in MLS play, San Diego gave up another late lead in a 2-2 draw against Real Salt Lake. And that's now back-to-back games where they couldn't close it out. The offense is still there. The talent is obvious. But defensively, discipline, focus, and finishing games are becoming real concerns. For an expansion team, this is part of the process. But if San Diego wants to be a top club, these are the games they have to start winning. So now the question is this just a bump in the road or the start of a bigger problem? From a historic night to really a reality check, it's been a tough stretch for San Diego FC in this beginning part of the season. And the momentum from the dramatic Champions Cup win didn't carry over. In the CONCACAF Champions Cup, San Diego's run came to a hard stop with a 4-0 loss to Toluca in the second leg in Mexico. Despite winning the first leg 3-2, SDFC was overwhelmed. Toluca outshot them 27-3, dominating possession and control throughout the match. Goals from Jesus Ricardo Angulo, Paulinho, and Jesus Gallardo sealed the result, sending Toluca through on aggregate. For San Diego, it was a reminder of the gap that can still exist between the MLS side and the top Liga MX competition, especially on the road. So leg 2, Frank, a little bit more coming back down to earth.
Yeah, and this is what we more or less expected. We didn't expect them to get completely dominated, but as we were saying on the show last week, after this happened, this was Toluca making sure that they, one, did not make the same mistake that Pumas made from a couple of weeks prior by going into Mexico. They still won, but didn't win by enough to be able to advance, but also not making the mistake that they had made the week prior and losing to a San Diego FC side that was riding high on a lot of momentum and positive forward movement. Toluca really shut that down quickly.
Back to the MLS side of things. So after that loss to Toluca, again, reset back to the normal schedule of the MLS. Problems didn't really go away. San Diego settled for a 2-2 draw with Real Salt Lake, making their second straight draw and third consecutive match without a win. And once again, it was a late collapse.
Yeah, San Diego led 2-1 after a late goal from Anders Dreyer, but conceded in the 85th minute when Victor Olantunji found the equalizer, and things unraveled further from there. Defender Christopher McVeigh was sent off, leaving San Diego down a man, unable to push for the winner. And this now marks back-to-back games where San Diego FC has given up late goals, including a stoppage time equalizer in Dallas last weekend. So it has been very, very tough. We're seeing a lot of fouls being committed. We've had, 4 red cards in the last 3 matches for San Diego FC as well in all competitions. So it has been a very, very rough patch for San Diego FC after getting off to such a hot start that they did, not just in the league, but in CONCACAF as well.
Yeah, this week exposed something important. San Diego FC is exciting, but not yet complete. The attack continues to produce. Players like Dreyer, Marcus Varkson are consistently creating chances, but defensively the cracks are showing. Late game focus is slipping. Discipline is becoming an issue. Multiple red cards in recent matches, as Frank was mentioning, and the team is struggling to close out games. And head coach Mike Ybarra said it best: if you want to be a top club, you have to handle the grind. And right now, San Diego is learning that lesson in real time.
Yeah, and it has truly been a grind. I mean, we brought it up a couple of updates ago. They're playing 5 games in 16 days, so they're playing a lot of football right now. But San Diego, you got to find a way to overcome that, because you're not the only one doing it. Every other team in the world has a stretch where they're playing a lot of games over a short amount of time, and they did. If you watch that game, especially towards the end, they look whooped against Real Salt Lake. They looked tired. They looked worn out. So that might be one of the bigger concerns, is that a team that you're not really used to seeing being gassed looked very gassed on Sunday.
Well, they've been playing 2 games a week for the last couple of weeks. So that's obviously a big reason why they are gassed. But now here's the good news. Looking ahead, a reset is coming. San Diego heads into the international break, sitting 4th in the Western Conference with 11 points, still very much in a strong position early in the season. And they don't play until a road match against the San Jose Earthquakes on April 4th. I mean, they got a little bit of time now to kind of relax a little bit and get the bodies right before they make another push. So the reset comes at a really important time for San Diego FC. Couldn't come at a better time for the break. A chance to regroup, a chance to clean up defensive issues, and a chance to reset mentally. $12:42 on a Wednesday. It is opening day eve. It's opening night, if you will, Major League Baseball. Baseball is back. Opening night live on Netflix tonight. Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees clash with Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants. MLB opening night. Yankees, Giants live on Netflix. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Looking forward to watching some baseball tonight. In the next hour, we are going to be giving away a pair of tickets to see Bob Dylan at the Rady Shell on June 21st. Get your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com. But right now, it is time to actually, you know what? Should we go through the NL East first or the Padres schedule first?
We could save the Padres schedule for next.
Let's do the NL East first, and then we'll dive into the Padres schedule. Fire up the music. All right, the National League East. Take it away, Frank. I'll step back for a little bit. I'll let you bitch, moan, and complain about the Mets, and then we can get down to business. All right.
Again,
I'm gonna let you talk a little bit. I'm gonna let you just let it out first before I start. I just got to hear it. Just let it out, buddy.
As much as I want to do the gimmick and as much as I want to do the bit, I also, when it comes down to these things, I also like to keep some form of professional integrity.
You also don't want to get made fun of at the end of the year.
Exactly.
That's also,
and I do want to be right. Like I know my job isn't to be right. My job is to, prove to the investors and the stakeholders how justify my paycheck to them. But
I don't think that's in your job description. I'd stop self-incriminating. Let's just move it along now.
I have the Phillies winning the division.
All right. So do I. You know what? There you go. Well, Odyssey's based in Philly. That's why you give that answer.
Yeah, there we go. 94 wins for the Phillies this year. I think that's 2 less than what they had last year. I have the Mets finishing second. I also have the Mets getting the 6th and final wild card spot with 86 wins. I have the Braves finishing 2 games behind them at 84 wins. I think the Braves are very good. They are going to be a pain in the neck. They always are a pain in the neck, especially to the Mets when it comes to the end of the season. They can never stay healthy. They have Spencer Schwellenbach, who's starting the year on the IL. They have Spencer Strider, who's now starting the year on the IL. They never stay healthy, or haven't in the last couple of years. I have the Marlins at 80 and 82 this year. I don't think last year was a fluke. I think they're going to spread those 80 wins out a little bit better than they did last year when they won 79. A lot of their wins came at the end of the season. I think it's going to be a more even spread year for the Marlins this year. And then they're the Nationals.
And then there's the Nationals.
They don't have anything of note. Robert Hassel III, which again was one of the guys that we banged our heads about when they traded him away for Juan Soto. He just got reassigned. James Wood is not going to be enough to keep that offense afloat. CJ Abrams is looking like he's out the door. And they do not have a contender such as a Mackenzie Gore, who could possibly be a spark in that starting rotation. They are a miserable team.
They are going to win 70 games, if that, this year.
I got them winning 63 games. You're a little bit more generous about the wins of the Nationals than I am.
I was a little bit more generous with the teams at the bottom because I cannot in good conscience pick a team except one to finish with 100 losses. That's so rarely that it happens. I can't see them. I cannot see them losing 100 games.
All right. I got the Phillies winning the division with 88 wins. Okay. I still think the Phillies are the class of that division right now. I think they are the most complete team, but I also want to recognize the fact that they are an aging team.
They are, yes.
They're an aging team. Most of their players are in their 30s. They have a couple of players in their 20s, but most of their players are in their 30s, or if they are in their 20s, they're in their late 20s. They don't have a lot of young players. They got a lot of guys under contract for a long time. They just re-signed 35-year-old JT Realmuto to a 3-year deal. They have Zach Wheeler is 36 years old under contract for the next couple of years. Kyle Schwarber just signed a 5-year deal at age 33. Bryce Harper's getting up there in age. He's 33. I think you're going to start to see a little bit of decline in the Phillies. For everybody that wants to say the Padres are going to be in a decline with their old players, I show you the Phillies, who are old and older than the Padres. The Phillies don't have Fernando or Jackson Merrill. The Phillies have a bunch of 30-year-olds and like 29-year-olds. They're getting old.
Brother, if you say 33 and getting up there in age in the same sentence again, I'm going to bap you one.
No, well, it's factual, dude. I'm 31 now, so it's not.
I'm 33.
Okay, well, here's the deal. In radio, it's great. It's young. In baseball, you're like 80 years old in baseball years. You're up there in years, okay? Would it be worse if we talked about Supercross? Would it be worse if I said Supercross and it said, oh, he's old. He's 24. You would have lost your mind.
I still have a chance. Let me dream.
And what exactly?
I can make it. I could make it, Bob.
I'm going to send you out of here. I really am. You're going to get subbed out for here in a second. Pull it together, big dog. Phillies still have their face of the franchise in Bryce Harper. And here's the thing with Bryce Harper. I think the comments made by the front office of the Phillies is going to lead to Bryce Harper being the NL East MVP. I really do. I think he's pissed off. I really do. And I think he's going to have a huge year. I think he is. Health permitting, because he's old at 33. Old ass. He's walking up there with a cane, just like Frank, apparently. Getting older. This team is getting older. The front office question is elite status. I think that's bulletin board fuel for Bryce Harper. They still have a good core. I mean, they're just a little bit older. I think that's why they're not going to win 98 games. They're going to win like 88 games, and they're still going to win the division. Harper, Schwarber, Turner, Wheeler, Nola. You got a couple of years of these guys in their end of their prime. They had an October offensive collapse last year, and they had a 199 postseason OPS over the last 2 years. That's tough. It's still a powerhouse regular season team, but until they do it in the playoffs, remains to be seen. I think the Mets are going to come in second place, too. I think they go 85 and 77. That's close to a playoff spot. I don't know if they make it or not. I have to go through it real quick to see where I had them. They had a reworked roster. Very high pressure, though. They added Freddie Peralta. I think that's going to be a big add for them. Their core is still intact with Lindor and Juan Soto. No Pete Alonso now in New York. How do they overcome that? I think, I'm going to be honest with you, I think Luis Robert Jr. is a newcomer of the year. I think he puts together a good year playing in an organization that is expected to win in the New York Mets. I think he's a big reason why the Mets might make the playoffs.
I think Freddie Peralta is going to be the newcomer of the year. He's got the opening day start. They're already talking about a contract extension with him. Or did they do that? Or I don't remember. But yeah, I think Freddie Peralta is going to be the newcomer. I think Kyle Schwarber is going to be the MVP. And I've got Christopher Sanchez. Sanchez was really, really good last year. Very dangerous. Had a 2.50 ERA last year. I'm going to take him as the Cy Young Award winner.
How about us picking the same team for everything but different players?
Yeah.
I picked Luis Robert Jr. to be the newcomer.
Well, not the Cy Young.
And then I got Sandy Alcantara. Which one is his?
He's Alcantara.
He's Alcantara.
Yes.
The other guy was the shortstop that barely plays. Alcantara. This one is Alcantara. Sandy, I think he'll be the best pitcher, but I don't think he'll be on the Marlins at the end of the season. I don't. And speaking about the Braves, we haven't. Are we overlooking Atlanta? I know
they have to prove they can stay healthy.
I know Acuna is the centerpiece, and I know he's the return. He could have the return of the MVP Acuna, and with him and Riley and Harris, they could be the elite offense that they want. But they got Spencer Strider still battling with injuries. Chris Sale has been a ticking time bomb when it comes to injuries. They already don't have Jurickson Profar for the year. This is a team that constantly cannot make it through because of injuries. And the whole thing is they are going to be dangerous if they stay healthy. I don't think they're going to be healthy.
We're all forgetting Matt Olson, too. He fell off a cliff last year.
Right.
In production.
I think Miami's going to have a building year off of last year. I might have them probably a little bit less than what they won last year.
Yeah,
I think
they stay at 79.
I think they win 73 games. But I think they're kind of a boomer bust too. I think it depends on if they keep Sandy or not. But they got young pitching depth. Yuri Perez, breakout candidate potentially with Sandy Alcantara being the rotation anchor. They might start to build a little bit, but they have a lot of Padres prospects over there. We'll see how good they are. Some of them they didn't even trade directly with the Padres. They got from other teams. Yeah. The Padres had traded away. Xavier Edwards. The Nationals are going to be terrible. They're going to build around James Wood, I guess, but they already traded Gore. Abrams is on the trade block. They could trade Abrams at the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's another team. It seems to be a recurring theme for last place. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
What's the plan here? What exactly are we trying to accomplish?
And you get your first look at what are you doing, Washington, at the end of May, the last 3 days of May.
Oh, great. We can have the conversation in the last 3 days of May of who won the Padres Nationals trade again.
Yep.
I hope they I hope eventually they trade away Abrams and Hassel and Wood, and then it's just can we stop doing this bit now?
No.
We already know who won the trade. We don't need to do this bit anymore. At this point. Storylines for this division. Are the Phillies running out of time? That's a storyline to watch this season. Did the Mets actually get better, or are they just different? I think that one's interesting. They had a massive roster overhaul. A lot of the payroll's still relatively the same. They just kind of moved the pieces around. I don't know if they might just be different. Are they going to be better than last year, or are they going to be just different than last year?
I think they are. Good? I think they are just different from last year. I can't really.
They're going to be the same level of good. They're just the recipe to make them good is just different than
I can't honestly say that Marcus Semien overall is an upgrade from Jeff McNeil. You move. I wouldn't say that Luis Robert is an overall upgrade from Brandon Nimmo. Now, the upside is certainly there. See what Carson Benj is out in right field. Now you've got Soto back in left. They're just different.
Braves have the highest ceiling in the East? I think so. Highest ceiling? The Braves have the highest ceiling. The problem is they never get there because they're never healthy.
New manager, too. They forgot about that.
Are the Marlins the most under-talked team in baseball?
It wouldn't surprise me if the answer to that was yes, honestly.
And the Nationals are starting over again. You know what, though? You can't make fun of them. They won the World Series in 2019. So take that, Mariners, who've never been there. Nationals won it. They continue to start over. When we come back, 1 o'clock hour, dive into the National League Central. We'll talk about the National League West later on, get into the Padres schedule. Broadcasting live for the Bill House Studios. We know how. Do you want to tell our listening audience what you were just trying to explain to me in terms of food?
I don't know what I hate more about this, the fact that it exists or the fact that I want it.
Probably a little bit of both.
It's called a pizzerito.
Okay.
This restaurant, I think it's called Crave It, or at least that's the thing that posted it. Takes like a chicken parm hero, a meatball hero, sausage hero, your hero of choice.
What makes it a hero for our listening audience?
It's a sandwich.
I know,
okay?
but what makes it a hero?
Well, it's on a thing of Italian bread. It's the long.
It's a roll, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Continue.
And they wrap a pizza pie around it.
Okay, hang on a second. So it's like a chicken parm sandwich, or a vodka parm sandwich,
yep,
or any type of chicken cutlet sandwich
with a full pizza pie wrapped around it,
and a full pizza. So they put the sandwich in the thing, and then they do the whole like
and they
roll up.
They wrap the whole thing.
And do they cut it in half?
Yes, of course.
Do you have a picture of this?
I have the TikTok of it. I will send it.
Oh, it's a TikTok.
I will send it to you.
Is this just a ploy to get people to watch TikToks?
No, it's a restaurant that does this.
Oh. Well,
I'm sending it to you now.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
I genuinely don't know what I dislike about this more.
Dislike about it? The fact that you probably want to devour one right now.
The fact that it exists, or the fact that I want it.
You're not mad that it exists. You're mad that you want one and you currently can't have one, and you're going to try when you get home to recreate.
No, I'm not going to try when I get home to recreate it. But yeah, no, I'm definitely more mad that I want it. You're right.
Yeah. Did you see, by the way?
Okay, what?
Go ahead.
Boo this man for TikTok. I
agree with that statement.
My friend texted me the thing, dude. I just watched it.
I post a lot of our stuff on TikTok. I hate doing it. I hate TikTok. I'm going to say it. I hate TikTok. I hate TikTok.
I'm not a fan of
Not
it
a fan.
either.
I'm too old for TikTok. There is no reason. You know what?
That's what I have Instagram Reels for.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's my millennial version of TikTok. All right, leave me alone to my Instagram. But there's two things that people in their 30s should not do. One, have a TikTok, and two, go to Pacific Beach. That's it. You're too old for PB, and you're too old for TikTok. It's a realization. Now, here's the deal. If you go into a bar in PB, now during the day it's fine. The 30-year-olds, the millennials can hang with the day PB vibe. We've talked about this before. But now, if you go out on a weeknight or a weekend, it's late, and you're out in PB, and you realize that you are the oldest person there, you shouldn't have TikTok deleted immediately.
Time to go home, boys.
That's time to go home. Absolutely. Oh, for sure. For sure. Yes, I do understand that Reels, TikToks, and Shorts are all the same thing. But you know what? It's for different audiences. If you're over the age, honestly, of 27 and a half, delete the TikTok. It's time to grow up, man. It's time to migrate your way to Instagram. And then after that, you got to start watching Reels on Facebook. That's when you're really too old. Yeah. I mean, if you're watching Reels on Facebook, it's over at that point, guys. I'm sorry. It's you shouldn't be going out to PB anymore. You should be finding different areas that you like. You know what? You should take up golf.
Oh, God.
I think you should take up golf. It's time to grow up, man.
Not the Facebook.
Not
Reels.
the Facebook, which is basically all the Instagram ones, but it's just for the people that don't have Instagram because they just have Facebook. Yeah, that's where we're at with that.
Facebook Reels is for people who call it the Facebook.
My uncle for a long time called it faceplant, but that was kind of funny. I actually like that. Faceplant. Yeah, I posted on faceplant. Excuse me? Like an eggplant? Or no, faceplant. Is that just for like people that ride motorcycles and Glamis? Is that what that's for?
Someone with MySpace is faceplanting.
That was before my time.
Yeah,
I never had a MySpace.
My parents made sure I didn't have one.
I was also in that particular crew. Was not allowed to have a MySpace. That was a foreign thing to me. I think I finally got some type of social media. I think Facebook was first, because then all of a sudden with class projects, you had to have like Facebook groups.
I was told
Snapface. That's a good one, Nate. I could see Nate actually using that. Nate in the YouTube chat.
I was told that MySpace could be full of strange people that routinely lie to you, and it could lead you to believe in false things. And I was told that by people who routinely believe in false things on the internet.
Which is you?
Which is my parents.
Oh, gotcha. Yes. You thought MySpace was the beginning of fake news.
My parents did.
Oh.
And now they routinely believe in said fake news.
Well, they got to the point where everything that they believe is on social media. I never had MySpace. No, that was never I was not allowed to have that. I have no idea how it works. I don't get the whole like, oh, my MySpace song was this. I don't even know what that means. It's such a foreign concept to me of MySpace. And as Juan Ruiz said in the chat, in the YouTube chat, he's younger than me and had a MySpace. Well, you know what? Your parents like living on the edge, apparently, because I was not allowed to have a MySpace. I don't know what's on. I don't even know what it looks like. If you were to pull up a MySpace page on the YouTube feed for me to look at, I would have no idea what it was. I couldn't even tell you what it looks like. Couldn't tell you. So the MySpace references, no. Do you know what the other thing I never had, but I have seen them? Because everybody in high school, I never had a Vine either. I had no, and I know Vine is basically like what TikTok is now.
Never had Vine.
I never had Vine. I get the videos that are on there kind of funny. I get some of those in the pop culture deal. I never had Vine. Not to say I didn't want Vine. I never had Vine.
Never did either.
Yeah, it's just Facebook before Facebook. I think that was it. I do remember Facebook having like cool games for a while. It was kind of fun. You know what they had? Like Facebook had a game that was like, it was sponsored by ESPN. It was like ESPN Bar, and like you made your own sports bar. And it was one of those where it's like, oh, you got to like do, it's those little like tasks games that you can have. Yeah. That game was fun, sports bar. Oh, come on, man. That's a foul. Foul in the chat.
Happen.
He draws the foul. Tom T619 in the YouTube chat said, come on, bro.
I didn't see what he said. What was your AIM messenger name?
Oh, God. I don't even know what that is. Is that the
you don't know what AIM is? I know what AIM is.
Is that is that AOL?
Yes.
Yeah, the AOL messenger.
Yeah,
AOL You've got mail.
No, it wasn't that.
That's fun. That was the only reason I have an AOL email, is just so when you like logged on the computer, you've got mail.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Hey. I do remember a time where like when I was a kid, you couldn't be on the internet. Otherwise, like you wouldn't be able to get phone calls.
Yes.
And so like your parents would be like, I'm expecting a phone call. This is before like everybody had like a cell phone, actually had a cell phone. So don't be on the computer. They'll be playing your games on nick.com or whatever the all the Cartoon Network's video games that they have for their shows.
Addicting Games, Candy Stand.
Oh, Addicting Games, yeah. What was that other one? Line Rider? You like draw like a line and a little.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Anyway,
Candy Stand was a good one.
I just remember like, or if you tried to call your friend, like there was a couple times I tried to call like a friend to see if they wanted to like go do kid things later, and you would get like the dial-up sound. It's like, oh man, they're on a computer. There's no way to like, you can't text the guy. Like, get off the computer. I'm like, you know what? Now I got to go walk over to his house and knock on the door. It's just so inconvenient.
Remember when our phones were attached to the wall and we had like a 12-foot radius that we could go around? Remember that?
Hey, you know what? Days? If you go back and you watch like 16 Candles and like the movies from the 80s, they were on it. They had the long ass cords you could walk around the house with. I would not be able to have a phone call like that because I literally pace around the house on every phone call I ever have. I am walking. I will not be sitting down talking on the phone. I am doing laps. If it's a long phone call, my watch basically asks like, "Oh, are you on a workout?"
Yeah,
like, no, I'm just doing I'm just doing laps in my backyard, walking in circles.
Yeah, the stupid nonsensical things you do on a phone call, like you lay on your bed upside down. Like what?
Excuse
me? Excuse me? Like what are you? No, I'm just.
Is that what you do?
No.
You lay on your stomach and your feet are in the air and you're just kicking back and forth, talking on the phone. Just like that. Pretending you're talking to Mr. Met instead. Don't answer that call when you're downloading something on the computer. Oh man, yeah. When I'm on the phone, I'm walking everywhere, all over the place. I would not be able to be on the phone this day. I'm like, you think AJ Preller's doing that, like walking around ball. That's great. What a great place to walk when he's on the phone.
Just randomly doing laps of the kitchen.
I do that all the time.
Something you would never do when you're not on the phone.
I go outside sometimes on the phone. Like if I'm in the house with like my family and they're sitting there just trying to enjoy their evening, they don't want me just walking around the house. So I go outside. That's at night too. I'll do it at night. Be like, get a late phone call, like 11 or something like that. I'm going to go outside. I bet you the neighbors are probably like, what is this guy doing back here? What kind of deals is he making? I got to walk and talk, dude. I can't sit and talk on the phone. I can't physically do it. I can't do it at all. I can do the Bluetooth in the car. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I like that more than just like listening to music. I just chit chat, get me through the drive. But I cannot physically sit down and talk on the phone. I can't do it. I will go insane. I will just get fidgety. I have to walk. I can't. I've tried, Frank. I've tried to break the habit, and eventually I just get up and start walking around.
For me, it depends. It depends on like how long the phone call is. It's like a 10-minute phone call. I could sit there and do that. But like if it's like an hour and a half phone call with my uncle talking about things that range from wrestling to Seton Hall to hockey to everything else, that one I'll be doing laps of my bedroom.
Here's the other thing too, is my friends and family get irritated with me. I don't shut up. And my excuse is, well, I talk on the radio for 4 hours. So and here's the part where I've found myself doing this sometimes when I'm talking about stuff, like either with my buddies at a bar or watching the game. I get into like radio mode where all of a sudden I'm like trying to prove points and stuff like that. Like, yeah. Podcast guy, shut up. Slow it down. This is not like a monologue. You're not trying to fill time in a segment. Like just tone it down a little bit. It's the same thing on the phone. Like I'll just be chit-chatting and then either my parents or my friend or even any of my friends, like my buddies, like you don't want to be on the phone with your buddy for longer than like 3 minutes. That's not how guys have conversations. I just start talking and they're just like, can I continue with my day, please?
Why would I want to talk to you?
I don't want to listen to your show again. I already heard your show.
Well, no, apparently they didn't. Because
sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't, for sure. But I will say this. There's some times where like, and here's the other part of like when your job is talking on the radio, right? Is you get the question, oh, how was your day? And I start explaining some of the stuff. They go, I've already heard you say this. I was listening to the show. Well, then you know how my day went.
Well, then why'd you ask? I was being polite.
I feel bad for my friend because
we're on the PC, we're on the computer generation. We don't know how to have conversations anymore.
Sometimes I forget or like it's not like we know everybody that tunes into the show via the radio. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of times where I've had conversations with you where it's off air that we're not on the radio, but sometimes it's on and I don't remember if it was on the air or not. And so there'd be something that's like about like, whoa, what happened in your day? Well, this happened. And I'm going through everything about the current event that we were talking about. And I usually get I've heard this like 3 times because she goes, 1, you already told me. 2, I heard your show. And 3, you're doing it again. Because sometimes it's a topic that we had already discussed beforehand. And then we do it on the show. And then I read like, well, how was your day? It's like, yeah, I've heard this. I've heard you say this already. But you know what she does? It's great. She just nods her head, smiles, lets me finish. And then she goes, yeah, I've heard that before. Thanks. You know what, though? You know what? At least you can tell your friends you know ball. Because here's the other thing, okay? She works at a place where a lot of people think they know ball. Jumps in, bang, girl knows ball. You're welcome. Okay? I don't know what the complaint is. She tried to go through the divisions today.
Which we have 2 left to get to.
We have 2 left to get
segments
to.
left.
And so I was explaining to her how we went through the process of picking the teams. And I was like, so we start with the ALEs. And she was like, oh, the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Mets. No, not the Mets. No, we're close. She got hung up on the Orioles.
Which, hey,
you know what happens?
They're a forgettable team.
She was on it with the Rays, and then she was on it with the Blue Jays, and then the Orioles kind of hung her up a little bit. And then when we got to the Central, she couldn't get the Twins. And then I was like, oh, the Twins. And she was like,
people in Minnesota.
She was like,
Twins,
she's like, I always forget the Twins. I'm like, so does everybody else. And you know what? It's the most forgettable division.
You know what everyone else forgets?
What?
The White Sox, the Royals.
Yeah, that entire division.
The Tigers.
She was on the Central, dude. She was on the Central. The Twins, threw her off. But she had the correct teams in the correct areas of the country. Now, she did have a problem with Major League Baseball. Because we brought up the American League Central. She said the Rangers and the Astros. And I'm like, well, they're in the West. And then she was like, that's stupid.
No,
Why
they're
are they
not.
in the West? She's like, they're in the Central time zone. I'm like, yeah, but they're in the West. She's like, that's dumb. I'm like, it's not smart.
What was the hint you gave her to get the Orioles?
I said there's you're missing 2 birds and a marine animal, because that's what she was missing, was the 2 birds and a marine animal.
You didn't give her the
Hey, Birdland.
You didn't give her that?
She would have no idea what I'm talking about.
Oh, she doesn't listen to the show now?
She does listen to the show, but I don't know if she knows the drops. She prefers your Letterkenny drops to anything else, to be fair.
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 There it is. We're working on the ball knowledge, She's got to, But here's the other thing, though, too. Here's the best part.
Your girlfriend sounds too smart for baseball.
Here's the best part. Now she's experiencing this with her dad. So her dad loves sports. Her dad doesn't listen to the show. I don't know why. Does not. He gets his information 4 days later. So not only does she have to, one, listen to our show for Padres news, whatever it may be, listen to me talk about it, but then she gets reminded of it by her dad literally the next week.
Listen to you talk about it?
Yes.
Listen.
I'm waiting for the tacos. Where the damn tacos at?
Are you trying to find reasons to play every drop?
No.
Are you raising your voice at me?
It sounded like you said...
Are you raising your voice at me?
It sounded like you said taco.
So he subscribes to a hard copy of the paper. Yeah. He basically gets his news from Ben Higgins on, not in the morning show, but on ABC 10. So it was breaking news this week, Frank, for USD hiring J.R. Blount. That was breaking news this week. Did not hear it on the show. And yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I heard they're hiring a new he goes, hey, they got a new basketball coach at USD. It's like 2 weeks after the fact. She was like, oh yeah, I didn't know. Who'd they hire? God bless her.
Mocking your friend's dad, probably not the smartest of moves,
Well, he is Santa Claus. Did you know that?
Oh, no.
Did that throw you off with that? He's Santa Claus. He's actually Santa Claus. I'm not
He's
kidding.
one of the mall Santas?
He is Santa Claus. I'm just going to continue to say that. But yeah, he has the beard. He's a natural beard, and he actually makes pretty good money doing that. He's a perfect Santa too. The guy's 6'4". He's got the full beard, jolly. It's great. No. I'm gonna tell you right now. This guy has been waiting for his daughter to date somebody that likes sports, because he is. I get to listen to his podcast when we go.
He sounds like he's right on it.
Oh, it's great. He's just a little bit late. This is a little bit delayed. Anyway, all right, we got to break down the National League Central when we come back.
And West.
The West is in the final segment.
So
we also have tickets to give away. We have tickets to give away for Bob Dylan. We will tell you how to do that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 Fan. There's a major storyline developing in San Diego High School football, and it's not about wins and losses, but Mount Miguel High School is now looking for its second head coach in just a few months. Larry Villarreal stepped down before coaching a single game, and the situation goes deeper than that. Nearly 30 players have entered the transfer portal, and multiple coaches have left the program. That's not just a coaching change. That's kind of a full reset in today's high school sports world, where the transfers are easier and exposure is higher. Program stability matters more than ever. Meanwhile, other programs like Cathedral Catholic continue to reload and compete at a high level year after year. So here's the big question. Are we starting to see a divide between programs that can sustain success and are those trying to rebuild from the ground up? Because what's happening in Mount Miguel could be a sign of a much bigger trend. It's been a week of major transitions, standout performances, and rising storylines across San Diego high school sports. At the top, another coaching shakeup. Mount Miguel High School is once again searching for a head coach after Larry Villarreal stepped down before even coaching a game. This is very interesting to me when it comes to this particular decision because, Frank, the reports are that, so Verlaine Batofi leaves and decides he's not going to coach anymore. Mount Miguel hires this particular gentleman to be their new head coach. And then the reports were members of Verlaine's staff were upset about it and forced him to step down. This is a crazy story in high school sports. Meanwhile, here's the other thing I got to ask. How does a public school get 30 transfers out? Seriously. I thought public schools just pulled from their local neighborhoods. How does a public school out in East County get 30 football players to transfer out of the program when their head coach leaves? Is that not a massive red flag for Mount Miguel? I mean, they had Mount Miguel. They got a coach. Assume a ton of players show up. Coach leaves, and now 30 players are in the high school transfer portal. Does that raise any red flags to you?
No, all normal here, all quiet on the Western Front.
No, it's just a neighborhood school with a bunch of neighborhood kids. Right, exactly.
Yeah, and Villarreal was the JV coach that got promoted to varsity. So the coaches, again, if what you're saying is accurate, the coaches that are telling him that forced him to step down, those are people that he's known for a while, whether it be in consulting with the varsity program as well. So that's very, very interesting, this whole story, that now you had a new coach, you promoted your JV coach, and now you've lost him and half of your team. That's very, very interesting what's going on at Mount Miguel right now.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Doesn't pass the smell test.
No, something about this is fishy. And I saw this on social media that made it even more fishy about the conversation with, the players are going to leave anyway because it's a brand new coach, right? I mean, that's just kind of, in this day and age of high school football, you're going to get this type of movement, especially for the high-profile coach that Mount Miguel had before they decided to make this move. But the interesting thing was the tweet that I saw about the whole situation of the staff convincing the new coach, hey, you should probably step down before we even start the season. That doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
Something about that's a little fishy, Frank.
Yeah, that's just really odd that you have the coaching staff conspire against the new head coach who, it's not like it's some random dude, and just it's just so odd. It's such a weird story, and I don't like the smell of this one bit.
Here's the tweet that I was mentioning from one of the coaches that is on that staff. He put this out. To be transparent, this had nothing to do with Coach Larry. I asked him to step down, and I gave him all the reasons to do so. He respected my request for the greater good of the program, and here we are. It wasn't Coach Larry's fault. He stepped into a situation that the remaining staff and parents said they'll support, but things just didn't work out. Life happens. Coach Larry is not on Twitter, and so I'm clearing the air for him. That doesn't make any sense at all. That doesn't make any sense at all. And then when asked about it from another coach, his response was, I'm not sure why you have more questions. I explained everything in the tweet, and no hard feelings. I know what you mean. Just for your curiosity, I'm nobody. I looked at the situation as a whole and seen what was going on, and it wasn't fair. Coming closer to the end of the show, I do want to mention We're going to try to play the Midday Sports Standoff tomorrow. If you are able to take me down to sports trivia, you would be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize, a 2-night stay at Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, and a $150 resort credit. March is here, and Fontainebleau, Las Vegas is the place to catch every game, high-energy watch parties, and expansive screens, great food and drinks, exclusive room rates, plus the pools and day club are open. Book your stay today at FontainebleauLasVegas.com now.
That'd be fun. Maybe we could do that with a live guest tomorrow. Actually, that would be a good idea.
It'd be better. They wouldn't be able to Google the lineups. Go Aztecs in the YouTube chat saying, I agree with one. If we had I'd have drops just with Mick Cronin. We played that highlight with the one shining moment in the background of like all of the best things he said. Those could all be turned into drops. I'd like to actually have 5 million. That's my answer for you. Absolutely. Wouldn't we all? Wouldn't we all, Mick? Wouldn't we all?
No kidding. Man.
All right, let's get to the National League Central. When we go to break, we are going to be giving away tickets to Bob Dylan. We have to do that. Got any fun questions for that, or just we want to give it to like the fifth caller or something? You don't. Are you telling me you don't have Bob Dylan trivia questions like ready to go at a moment's notice?
No, I don't.
Can't say you do.
No, I cannot say that I do.
You're just not a big Bob Dylan fan, I guess.
No, I'm not. I'm really not.
There's got to be something on there that we can figure out. Anyway, stay close attention to that. We have to get to the American League, the National League Central Division. Let's fire up the music again.
You've been having fun going first. I'll wait on yours here.
You want me to go first?
Yes, yeah, go first.
All right, okay. The National League Central Division. In the National League Central, the Chicago Cubs, to me, are the team to beat. Again, I picked them last year. I don't know what's going on with the Brewers. The Brewers continue to just put together teams all the time that like magically make runs. So the Cubs, 86 and 75 is where I have them. The Brewers, 84 and 78. I think the Pirates are a little bit better than they've been in the years past. I think they're 77 and 85. I think the Reds take a massive step back. It's already off to a bad start with Hunter Green. I think they go 75 and 87. And I actually have the Cardinals losing 100 games. I think they go 61 and 101. I think the only thing left tied to the ship is
Bless you.
Anything not tied to the ship, I think it's shipped off, if you will, when it comes to the Cardinals to the deadline.
Bless you. I've got the Cubs winning the division. I have the Reds finishing second and making the playoffs again. I have them making the playoffs as either the 5 or the 4 seed, depending upon who wins the season series against the 4 seed. I got the Brewers finishing third at 83 and 79. I've got the Pirates at 78 and 84, and the Cardinals at 65 and 97. They are not going to be good. They're going to be pitiful this year.
They're not going to be very good. I agree with that. All right, let's get to some of the things with the with this division. So we both got the Cubs winning. We both have the Cardinals losing. Mm-hmm. In terms of the newcomer, I'm going to go with the guy that used to play in this division, is now back in the division. I think Eugenio Suarez might have a little bit of a bounce back year.
It's not a bad shout
here, and not really bounce back. I mean, he had a pretty good year last year, but I think he's a nice little jolt for the Reds. He's back in a ballpark that is easy for him to hit home runs in the Great American Bandbox. I know everything in Cincinnati runs through Ellie De La Cruz, but I think Eugenio Suarez is the newcomer of the year.
I'm going to go with, of course, the cliche answer of Alex Bregman. All eyes are going to be on him. He's going to want to show what he can do in Chicago. I think he's going to be the newcomer of the year.
Moving on in this division to the MVP. I think Pete Crow Armstrong showed in the WBC just the type of season he's going to have.
Mm-hmm.
I got Pete Crow Armstrong as my MVP of this division.
And just got a contract extension as well yesterday. So that's really not a bad shout at all.
I would say it's going to be Ellie De La Cruz. If the Reds are going to make the run that I think they are going to go on, it's going to be because he plays up to that superstar level. So I'm going to say Ellie De La Cruz is going to be the NL Central MVP.
Do we have anybody besides Paul Skeens to be the Cy Young? I mean, it's like Tarek Skubal in the American League. Tarek Skubal's the best pitcher in the American League.
Get the old, I'll wait.
Yeah, Paul Skeens is the best pitcher in the National League. It's, he's going to be the MVP of the division. I don't think this division is going to be very good.
I think it's going to be better than people think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a little surprising. I think the Cubs are going to run away with it. I think it's going to be the fight for. So you had 4-1-1 going in for the American League, 4 in the East, 1 in the Central, 1 in the West. I've got 2-2-2 here in the National League. So I think it's going to be a fight for that wild card spot, that number 2 spot. But I think it's going to be a very entertaining division this year.
I think it's going to be closer than it's been in years. I think the Pirates are going to be a problem to deal with for teams at the top. I think the Reds are still going to be an issue for teams to deal with. I don't think they're going to win a lot of games. I think the Reds are going to take a step back because they're already off to a bad start, as I mentioned, with the pitching staff. But on top of that, I also think these are going to be battles for teams that are competing in the National League that they're going to have to. They're going to be frustrating series for teams that are competing in the National League. Mm-hmm. Going to Pittsburgh is going to be have the Padres ever done well in Pittsburgh? They get them on the first road trip. Like, they're going to run into Pittsburgh and have to deal with the Pirates early in the season. I've seen this happen before. Everybody's going to be pulling their hair out watching the Padres play in Pittsburgh. That's going to be I think those teams might not have the best records, but they're going to have the biggest say in who makes the playoffs in the National League.
They're not good teams. They're irritants.
Yeah,
that's what they are.
Truthful.
They're irritating. That's all. That they're not good, but when it comes to playing them, they are the most annoying teams you can face.
Like, the Reds are not a team that you're super scared about. They got Ellie De La Cruz is really good. Nick Lodolo in the starting rotation. Hunter Green is like the big reason that they have success, but he's been already in some scary arm issues to start his career. But the thing that's annoying of
Chase something or other.
The thing that's annoying about the Reds, though, and here's the other thing with the Reds: Terry Francona is their manager.
Yeah,
Terry Francona is a good manager.
I think,
and the Reds play in a place that will bludgeon you and bludgeon pitching because that ball flies in Cincinnati.
I think Terry Francona could be the manager of the year in the National League this year.
I can see that.
If they make the playoffs and if they make the run, if they make that 87 win bracket, I think that he could be the manager of the year for the National League.
Anything else you got to get to the Central? I have, in terms of the playoffs, to just recap before we go to the NL West to kind of end the show. Mm-hmm. In the American League, I have 4 teams in the AL East winning making the playoffs. I got the Red Sox winning the division. I got the Yankees and Blue Jays tying for second and making the playoffs. And I have the Orioles just outdoing the Royals for the final wild card spot, with the Tigers and the Mariners making the playoffs as division winners. Okay, it's just going through the whole deal of taking 2 out of 3 here, losing here, all that sort of fun stuff. And that's what it spit out. In the National League, I got the Phillies and Mets making the playoffs. Phillies winning the division. You're welcome. I didn't do that just because of you. I have the Cubs winning the division in the Central and nobody else. I think the Brewers just miss out because I think there's going to be 3 teams in the National League West that make the playoffs. Who are the 2 wild card teams? Who wins the division? We'll talk about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Room Sports Station. Hang on. Before we do that, we have to give away tickets to Bob Dylan at the Radio Show on June 21st. You can get your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com. We are giving away a pair today. Here's the trivia question for you. Bob Dylan wrote a song called Hurricane, which is about Reuben Carter, who was a Black American middleweight boxer who was wrongfully convicted and imprisoned for murder until his release following the petition of habeas corpus after spending 18 years and 4 months in prison. Who played Reuben Carter in the movie The Hurricane? First one to call in and tell me who played Reuben Carter in the movie The Hurricane, which Bob Dylan wrote a song about. It's a very long song. Will win a pair of tickets to see Bob Dylan at the Radio Show on June 21st. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. What actor played Reuben Carter in the movie The Hurricane. First one to call in and tell me that will win the tickets. We'll talk about the National League West to finish the show when we come back. The San Diego Gulls are starting to look like a completely different team, and it's happening fast. They just pulled off a wild 6-5 comeback win over the Colorado Eagles, scoring late, forcing overtime, and winning it in a shootout. And here's the big picture. This team is scoring a lot. 7 goals against Bakersfield, 5 against Calgary, 6 in that comeback win. This offense is exploding, and it's coming from everywhere. Gauthier is with a hat trick. Pastujov leading the way, and young guys like Leno stepping up. But what really stands out, they don't quit. Down late, doesn't matter. This team keeps coming. So now the question is, are the Gulls turning the corner at the perfect time, or is this just a hot streak? Because if this is real, this team could be dangerous down the stretch. This was a big statement win for the Gulls.
Yeah, absolutely. And a huge statement week for them. The Gulls starting to build off of something, and this week showed exactly why. We'll start with the headline moment: a wild 6-5 shootout comeback win over the Colorado Eagles. This game had everything: 6 goals in one period, a late 2-goal deficit, and a clutch finish. Down to late in the third, San Diego did not blink. Sasha Pastujov tied the game with just 33 seconds left, continuing his standout season as this team's top offensive producer. And then in the shootout, it was Nikita Nestorenko who had sealed that, marking back-to-back victories, and more importantly, showing resilience that this team is going to need going into a playoff push.
Now, they didn't sweep the series. The Gulls dropped the second game 5-1, splitting the set 2-2 overall. But even in the loss, Pastujov stayed hot, adding another goal and continuing to climb the AHL leaderboards in shots. Now, the offense is starting to heat up. This might be the biggest takeaway from the week. The Gulls offense is exploding right now. 7 against Bakersfield, 5 goals against Calgary, 6 goals in that comeback win against Colorado. And that's not a fluke. That's starting to trend in the right direction if you are the Gulls. I mean, Gauthier recorded the team's first hat trick of the season. Sam Colangelo had a 3-point night. Matthew Phillips snapped a long drought and hit the 400-game milestone. And Tristan Leno continues to be one of the most productive defensemen on the roster. This is a team getting contributions from everywhere, and that's dangerous in the AHL.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's fun to watch as well. And all of those goals don't really mean anything if you don't have somebody in the net backing them up. So it's not just the offense. Thomas Suchanek coming up clutch in that comeback win against Colorado. Kelly Klang posting a 37 save performance and keeping these games close. And maybe most importantly, this team has grit and they do not quit no matter what, by how much or when they are down. They've now built up a reputation in the AHL for late game pushes, especially with the extra attacker, and that chemistry on 6-on-5 situations is becoming a real weapon for this San Diego Gulls team.
Yeah, the shift early in the season, the Gulls are very inconsistent, and now they're becoming resilient, offensive-minded, opportunistic. They're also elite in a lot of key areas, like you mentioned, the penalty kill, over 85% among the AHL's best. Shorthanded goals near the top of the league. That's a sign of a team that's not just talented, but buying into a system.
It's not just buying into a system either. It's getting that comfort of playing with each other for a long period of time. As we keep saying, the Ducks are good. So they're not just getting young guys that they've just recently drafted to learn on the job. They're keeping guys down at the AHL level here in San Diego, and that's building continuity. That's allowing these guys to form some sort of identity as they play together.
And now the focus turns to consistency. Can they avoid slow starts, which has been a big problem for them throughout the entire season? Can they tighten up defensively after big offensive nights? Turn these flashes into a sustained run. Also, keep an eye on the new addition of Herman Traff joining from Sweden. That's another young piece entering a system that's clearly starting to click. So the big question is, and we continue to ask this question, are the San Diego Gulls turning the corner at the right time, or is this just a hot stretch? I just feel like this is different. Good teams don't just win. They find multiple ways to win, and the Gulls just showed a comeback win, a dominant offensive performance, a gritty defensive effort, and a loss. That's growth, and the only question now is sustainability. If they keep this up, this isn't just a development anymore. This is a team that could start making real noise and make some noise in the Calder Cup playoffs. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. Final segment of the Braden Surprenant Show today. We're going to get to a National League West preview mixed with a quick look at the Padres schedule coming up to start the season. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. Thanks again for tuning in to the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Tomorrow's opening day. It's our last segment of off-season baseball. How about that? Can we count that as that? Last off-season show. Spring training's not really the season. It's spring training. It's preseason. I guess you could say it's the last preseason show. It's the last show without Major League Baseball, which is great.
Padre baseball will be on the air about a half hour into the season at this time tomorrow.
Padres will be up 10-0 on Scuba here.
Now you're going to get people mad if it's the other way around.
I have no impact on that. If I did, I would be very rich and would not be here right now. There's no such thing as a broadcaster curse. All right, moving on. Let's get to the first. We gave away tickets to Bob Dylan. We're going to be doing that the rest of the week, correct?
Yes, we are.
All right, so we'll have more Bob Dylan trivia questions for you. We'll have to give one out tomorrow as well. And with the Bob Dylan trivia question, here's what we got. I asked the question because he wrote the song The Hurricane, or Hurricane is a Bob Dylan song. It's like a 7-minute song. It's about Reuben Carter, who was an Black American middleweight boxer who was wrongfully convicted and imprisoned for murder until released following a petition of habeas corpus after spending 18 years and 4 months in prison. There's a movie about him called The Hurricane. Who played the Hurricane, Reuben Carter, in the movie? The answer is Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington was the answer. John and Alpine won the tickets, correct?
Yes, he did.
John and Alpine won the tickets. John's birthday is 2 years on the day to Frank's dad's birthday.
Yes, it is.
And to which John, in the past tense, said, your dad must have been a wonderful man. Excuse me? John, how old do you think you are, dude? Like, just assume that is that. What? He hangs up.
My dad is alive.
Frank goes, my dad's alive. How old do you think you are, John? Well, I watch Facebook Reels. Oh! That's where it comes from. Oh! I can't believe that guy. I was like, what? I don't like that. I don't like the past tense.
Oh, my goodness.
Of your dad. He must have been a good man. Mr. Marchese is a great man. It is a great man. He is a great man.
Mr. Fryer Savage in the chat. When will the grand prize be notified for the biggest fan? That's usually at the end of every month.
No, the biggest fan.
The biggest fan. My bad.
Biggest fan. I don't know. Did we get confirmation
I
on that?
do not know. My bad.
Are we announcing that tomorrow?
I got the.
They did the whole thing with.
I got the contest mix up.
Was Rod last year? Did he win the biggest fan?
I believe
last year?
Rod was last year. Yes.
They did. They like called him and stuff too, right? Didn't they?
I don't know.
I think the morning show calls
doing
you.
The daily shows.
Oh, I'm just remembering from like social media. I'm pretty sure like Rod because he posted the video of him getting the phone call from Ben and Woods live on the air. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. I don't actually know. Did they tell us? Did they send an email about that?
No, I haven't gotten anything.
Did they send a memo out that I ignored and hadn't paid attention to that I would get yelled at for not paying attention to said email? He must have been wearing yellow pants. Poor John, dude. Now, but John probably feels bad.
I think he means my dad.
It's true. You don't know what Go Aztecs is thinking in the YouTube chat. So, anyway. No, I do not know. We have not been informed who the biggest fan is.
No, we have not been informed the biggest fan. We do not know. We kind of more or less, because I saw this also pop up in the chat, we have not heard an official opening day roster.
No, you're not going to get that until tomorrow.
Yeah, we kind of guessed at what it would be in the first hour of yesterday's show, which, by the way, all of the hours for the podcast will be going up after the show today because I'm so far behind. But yeah, other than that,
you know what? You got a short show tomorrow, so
I do have a short show tomorrow.
I think you're okay.
Short show, long day.
All right, let's see. Is it on the contest page? It didn't say. It should be on the contest page when they're announcing it. I don't know. We'll ask. We'll ask for you. Am I the winner? Poor Josh, by the way, in the YouTube chat. The one day his name gets called is the day that he's like 30 minutes behind on YouTube. All right, it's time to get to the National League West preview.
The division we've all been waiting for.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure they are going to call you too if you win. I don't think you have to like be present to listen to that part, but I don't know. I don't want to screw up the context rules either.
That's actually really sweet. All you in the chat, don't forget to leave out a star for Jerry Coleman tonight. That's actually really nice.
That's a great Padres tradition they got to start up. You know what's funny about that? Somebody just posted. I sent it to...
Not me.
Not you. I didn't send it to you. Back in 1981 when there was a strike, Baseball's Greatest Moments just put out a video from Historic Videos of Jerry Coleman calling a fake game when fans gathered at Qualcomm to participate in the fake game coverage.
Oh God!
During the strike. It's a pretty good video. Maybe if we have time, we can play it later. But let's get to the National League West preview.
All right. So for me, we're very similar.
Does anybody think that anybody but the Dodgers is going to win the division? Aside from us Padres fans being biased and really loving our team, it's going to be our year. This is our year. I think the Dodgers win the division. Yeah. I think they win 108 games. I hope they don't.
I don't think they win that much. I think they win 97.
I hope they don't, but I think they will. And does anybody think the Rockies won't come in last place?
They are the one and only team I have losing 100 games.
Yeah. I got them going 59 and 103.
I have them going 60 and
102. Yeah, they're going to be really bad. All right, let's move on to I got the Padres. Here's the thing about the Padres.
Yeah, here's our Padre win guess, our official win prediction for the Padres.
I personally, before I did this, thought the Padres are going to win like 86 games. I went through it, I went through it, the whole schedule. Like, we'll take 2 out of 3 there. They never win in Miami. They'll lose 2 out of 3 down in Miami. They'll win these games because they're not supposed to. They'll drop a series to Colorado. I did the whole thing. I got 91 wins. I was like, I don't know about 91 wins, but you know what? I got them going 91 and 71. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. Love it. I had them winning 86 last year, and they ended up winning 90. So maybe they are close to the 90 wins from a year ago. Maybe everything works out well for the Padres. I have them at 91 when I do that. 91 and 71 in second place.
You're looking for a 3-year streak of winning 90 games over the course of a season.
I don't think they're going to get there.
I don't think so either.
I think they're going to win 87. I think they're going to have the same record as the Reds. I think it's going to be a fight between them and the Reds to see whether or not who gets the number 4 seed in the wild card. I think there are going to be some growing pains early. You have a new manager. You have guys who are trying to fill in while other guys are returning from injury. Guys like Joe Musgrove, you cannot expect Joe Musgrove
to be back at 100% and pitching like Joe Musgrove immediately. I see them, their first couple months are going to be very up and down. It's going to look like a 500 team. And then late June, early July, all-star break time, I think that's when you're going to see things start to click and the momentum start to come in, and they're going to have a very good second half of the year. I think all of that leads to about an 87-75 record.
I got them. Yeah, I have them winning 91. I don't necessarily know if I believe it or not, but I think they're going to be in the 86 to 91 range. I think they might get off to a little bit of a slow start just because of a lot of the things that Frank said, but also the Tigers are tough. I think the Giants are going to be a lot better this season. They go to Boston, who's got a good team. They usually don't do as well in Pittsburgh. I mean, that's kind of the slate to get everything started. Plus, you're giving extended tryouts to Walker Buehler and Germán Marquez and Ty France. I mean, there's a lot of extended tryouts for some of the players in the first month of the year. So we both agree that Dodgers going to win the division. We both think that the Rockies will come in last. I got the Padres at 91-71. I got the Giants at 87-75. I think the Diamondbacks are under 500. I don't see their pitching staff holding up. I got them going 80-82.
I see
this season.
I see the Giants at 82-80. I got the D-backs at 77-85,
which is even worse than I got them at. Newcomer of the year. I went super biased for our awards. Newcomer of the year, I put Miguel Andujar. I think Miguel Andujar is going to be a big reason why the Padres have success.
And the obvious choice, I think, here is going to be Kyle Tucker, but I think value for money, I think, would make Nick Castellanos the newcomer of the year.
You factored money into the decision? Like he's not making as much, so he's going to get the way more value.
Value for
value.
Yes.
Okay.
Value for money, I'm saying Nick Castellanos.
MVP, I'm going with Fernando.
I'm going with Ohtani because
boo this man. Boo.
Let's be real here. Let's be real.
Man.
Who is not going to vote?
How dare you? That's a good pick. Moving on. I got Fernando, though. I think Fernando puts together his MVP level season. I'm not the only one that thinks that. Some other people out there picking National League MVP. Good. Yeah. Bring on the booze. Bring on the booze. It's a good pick. Bring on the booze.
Boo him because, exactly.
Yeah.
He's sneaking in the good pick.
Yeah. Boo. How dare you not pick a Padre? Am I going to go 3 for 3? Yes, I am. Picking all Padres. National League West Cy Young. I think Walker Buehler's going to have a good year. That's going to be the worst hot take exposed when he gets shelled maybe in his first outing. But I really believe like Walker Buehler had a great spring. I probably should say Randy Vasquez. I'm changing it to Randy Vasquez. I had to go all Padres for this just for the fun of the bit. I mean, you could probably make a good pick and pick Logan Webb. I'm going to go Randy Vasquez. I think Randy Vasquez shows why he deserves to be in the top 3 in the rotation.
I am going to pick Logan Webb, as a matter of fact. I think the Giants are going to stay relevant because of Logan Webb.
I agree with that. I don't think that's a bad pick. We're going to boo you for picking division rivals, though. Boo.
It's like I said.
But they're both good picks.
Like I said, I want to be right, too. Like, it's not just about having fun. It's about also being as right as possible to preserve some form of professional integrity.
You just got to be able to wear it, though, when they all get off. Frank picked this guy. He's not a Padre.
I'm a Met fan. I've been wearing it my whole life.
Continue to wear it in 2026. We'll see you guys at Baja Rick's tomorrow. 10 in the morning. We'll be there from 10 to noon. Ben and Woods will be there from 6 to 10. Coming up next, Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Gravy, Gwynn, and Chris. Talk to you guys on opening day.
The regular season has finally arrived. Tune in to